And not to start with the Kermit the Frog impression this week, but
Thank you.
it is Leog number 7. The fabled and I thought would never actually happen video game episode.
You begged for it not to happen.
And when I say yay, I mean fuck.
Oh, stop it, Bo.
It's happening. It's really happening. We've got the game episode.
I am going to be the Eeyore of this episode.
Because you're usually the bright ray of sunshine.
Hey, shut up, you prick! Because the last video game system I owned was a ColecoVision in 1989.
Thanks for coming, Bo.
Yes. Thank you for playing Get Out.
So glad you could help. So, really, tell us, what high score did you get on the Smurfs?
Hey, I played like a contest to get high score in Pitfall, and I got it.
Really?
I fucking got it, yeah. I took a picture of the screen and sent it in. They gave me a prize.
And the prize was lame, and that ended
really lame.
That ended your career.
It was like a fucking certificate and in television.
Wow. Well, no, seeing it in television's not lame.
No, I actually was playing it on and in television, so that's not
wow.
So are you serious? You won a prize for playing a video game?
Yeah.
Then why are you shitting all over this?
No, I'm not shitting on this. I'm shitting on me. I'm just saying that I don't have much to comment. Yeah. Hey, it's easy to do because my head is so far up my ass.
I have seen that website.
Nice.
But I have to yawn to take a bowel movement. It's true, kids.
Well, I didn't think this would come together either because I'm right behind Bo as far as not playing, but I happen to know a bunch of guys who make these games.
Yes, you were the one who really sort of summoned in the whole crew because you actually worked in the industry.
Yes,
even though
it was
never had
decades ago, but I did.
You never had time to play because you were too busy making love to women.
Leon worked on Space Invaders.
Leon actually invented the game Combat for the Atari 2600.
Hey, can we do a roll call?
Yes, I am Cyrus, your host. Next up, we've got
Jason.
And then Bo.
And Leon.
And Grant.
And special guest.
Well, first off, let's go with our musician, our musical leader, Greg.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Greg.
Yeah, Greg.
Tickling
something,
the frets.
Something a little funky and video gamey.
Yep.
He's got to work his way into
that lane thing. That
I don't think Madness ever did a video game soundtrack. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I would so totally play that.
Somebody needs to get this man a Casio keyboard.
Yeah, right.
If they would make like a House of Fun video game with like never mind.
This is definitely not House of the Dead. I'll tell you that much.
One step beyond.
But we love Greg. He's our musician who's stuck by us, even
That's
though
true.
we're a bunch of nerds and he's way too cool.
Every time he shows up, I'm like, shit, he's still coming back.
Even though he's rolling his eyes at us right now.
We haven't scared him off yet.
You can at least play some music from Madden, I'm sure, right?
No, actually, Greg is the nicest musician I have ever met. And
That is
I've met
true.
a lot. Musicians are they're supposed to be like surly and full of themselves, like Kanye West and
Or Billy Bob Thornton.
or Billy
Or
Bob
Polly
Thornton.
Bob.
And
like that time
yeah.
Iggy Pop beat the shit out of
Trust me, if the Canadian Broadcasting Company ever interviews Greg, they will get nothing but happy interactive talk.
That's true. He'll be very friendly. He'll probably give a big sloppy blowjob to the host. It'll be
Are we
great.
gonna?
Although I gotta hand it to.
I get a blowjob from the host.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I gotta hand it to Billy Bob Thornton because when he was going off on one of his little like segues, he started talking about Fantastic Monsters of Filmland.
Yeah, he mentioned Forrest J. Ackerman.
See,
Yeah.
props
and
to
I gotta
him.
say, even though he's being a dick, that was really cool to bring up.
It was cool, but he was being a colossal dick that wiped out any kind of positive image you could come from that with.
It's like, oh, you're not fucking Angelina anymore. Oh.
Exactly.
Well, I love it when he's like, you wouldn't ask Tom Petty that question. It's like, actually, I would.
Yeah.
He's doing voice acting now. I would ask
And not
him.
only that, but the question was like, "What are your musical influences?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm pretty sure he would ask that of Tom Petty."
Okay, we
at
spent
some
like 40
point during
minutes
an
on,
interview.
on music last episode.
Oh,
We
that's
can
true.
skip
That's true.
ahead.
No more music.
And
so
all
yes.
Billy Bob Thornton's pissed off about is because when you already know you've slept with the best looking woman you're ever going to sleep with, it's just from there everything is.
All right,
Should we segue to sports?
I would like to.
Well,
I want to end the Billy Bob Thornton discussion. But what's with the toupee? I mean, I understand when he wears it for a movie, for a role, but now he wears it like in his real
like
life,
as if we don't
like,
know.
As if we don't
It'd
know.
be like if Bruce Willis walked around wearing one.
It's like-
but at least he's got taste enough to keep his head shaved and walk
Yeah,
around
but it's like,
that.
hey, asshole, we only know you because of Sling Blade, where you were bald
And
Yeah.
retarded. So stop pretending you're not.
Yeah, that was pretty convincing.
I gotta say,
Actually, to be fair,
peaked.
he shaved his head for
Some
the
folks say I'm a good musician.
Hey, it's been like 9 Leogs since we've done a Billy Bob impression. on the sling blade. That's
Hey,
right.
well, we also have another guest here.
Yes, thank you. I was trying to
It's
segue
true.
there. Do you guys
Hey, wait!
remember?
This guest has boobs. Let's talk to her.
Oh, that's a slut.
Whoa.
That's also true.
Oh, I'm sorry. Co-host wasn't here.
I have 2 of them.
Which is an
That's very
important
good.
number for boobs. For
All
human.
right, let her
female.
talk. Who
Yeah,
are
let
you?
the boy. Give Allison a chance.
It's Allison.
That's a cool
Everybody asked
time.
for Allison back. We got her back. Here she is.
I know. I have to remind you guys sometimes. It's true. I'm a girl.
Yeah.
You don't really have to, but we
No,
like to
I
pretend
thought I
that you do.
smelled something.
Wait a minute.
Choose. Come on.
See, this is why the rest of us don't get laid. Is because of Jason over here.
Do it.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Captain Cockblock.
She's so impressed with us now. She'll be back every week.
So,
What do you-
yeah,
what have you
so
been
she
up
can
to?
stand us up every week.
So,
as she
Allison,
has been for the
Allison,
last
what
6
brought you
months?
back for this particular episode?
Money and booze.
Money.
Oh.
You're getting paid.
Yes.
Money?
What?
No, I'm not. It's video games.
Okay.
It's
Oh, video games.
It's true.
Because you just love video games.
I do love the video games.
You know, we have 978 members in the League Lounge right now, and I think at least, 977 just got an erection. The other one is a girl.
Girls can get erections too.
I was not aware of
A
this.
clit
and that's
erection?
very frightening.
Sure.
Oh, Jason, don't.
I'll,
I've been to Mexico with you. I know what you're into. Come on.
You never
would've
saw the
had to-
China porno video? Come on.
I'll show you a picture in my copy of Our Bodies Ourselves, ladies and Jason. You're cool.
Wow.
Oh,
Here's
is
some-
that the sticky one? Is that the one? Is that the one wedged in between your hardcover copy of Batman and Granny Tranny's Volume 1?
No, the Batman is the sticky one.
Have you noticed whenever we have a girl on is when they're like, wow, that episode was really blue. What was going on with that?
Yeah, we're not going to do that this
We're not
time,
going
right,
to do
fellas?
that because we're respectful
So
gentlemen.
the other day I was fucking this dead owl on a bus. And these 2 queers wait, what?
Wow. So anyway, video games.
Video game.
Yes, video
As
games.
much as we didn't want to do a video game show, everybody kept asking us every week, when are you going to do a video game show?
Yes, and you talked me into it.
And
Ron.
I was one of those voices going, when are we going to do a video
Yeah.
game show?
Yeah.
The answer is now, bitches.
I kept saying it's not going to happen, dude. There's just we don't know enough. It was like pretty much me and Jason play games, and that's it. And even I,
Grant.
don't
I-
buy
I
games till they've been out
Play
for
my
a year.
fair share.
Okay, and Grant, but you know he's Grant, so
Hey, man.
The hell does that?
Grant has his finger on the pulse of the youth.
Grant is awesome when I need somebody to back me up with Lost being the best television show.
It is the best
damn
television
it.
show.
Yeah, because no one else will step up, Jason.
Yeah, you know what? Every time you guys record a Lost-centric .5 or
You're never
something,
here.
I'm never invited.
Well, that's not
And
true.
you guys are like, oh, you don't really watch Lost.
Those are always those
Motherfuckers,
nights-
I watch it every week.
The last time we did one, his Facebook profile just said Scotch. And I sent him a message about it. Hey, why don't you come?
That's okay.
Scotch.
That's okay, Jason. They just keep assuming you're straight. So
Okay,
I don't
so
have anything.
we've
Man.
got a big crowd here tonight. We've got a lot of professionals in the industry.
Hey, can we hear? Can we hear from our crowd? Can we hear a little?
Everybody
Wait, wait.
cheers on
All right.
This is the first full-fledged Leog party we've had in a while.
Well, it is funny because I was thinking like, oh, we'd have a little intimate setting. We'll bring in a few professionals, and then Cyrus decided to invite Facebook,
Yeah, pretty much.
and they all showed up.
Rolled out of the woodwork.
yes, it's true. At 7 o'clock, I heard a knock on the door, and then I turned around to Cyrus's room and said, "The internet is here, dude."
It's like that scene in Weird Science where they open the door.
How you ding? How you ding?
Hey, dang.
They were all
Okay.
wearing Guy Fawkes masks too. It was really weird.
Because of the sheer amount of people and the limited budget of Leog, we have a limited amount of microphones.
There's
so
a
what we're going to do
A
is...
budget for booze.
Budget for booze.
It's how much
Yeah,
I can afford
we got to
to
get them
spend.
out of here before they drink everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And there's a
Call that
lot
Lone
there.
Star?
There's more Lone Star than I've even seen in a liquor store before.
Holy,
right now.
it's a veritable constellation in our fucking refrigerator right now.
Garth Ennis is on a plane right now, heading over here.
It's called Not Quite So Lone as You Might Have Been Led to Believe Star at this point.
So, we are going to be rotating even some of our regular group in and out to make way for our guests. So, I say let's go ahead and move in and bring in our first guest.
All right.
do it. Who is
well,
our
Can I talk about comic books a little first?
now I got to.
Do you have something important to say?
Actually,
are you about to stop?
I do. May 2nd is Free Comic Book Day.
We got to
we
mention
gotta
that.
talk
Yeah,
about
yeah,
Free
we got to
Comic
talk
So
about
do
Free
not
Comic Book
forget
Day.
that. This is
You
when
should be going to Austin Books
If you live in Austin.
If you live in Austin.
Or wherever you live, go to your
or
comic book
Tribe
store.
Comics,
Or Tribe
or
Comics.
Rogues Gallery.
That's true.
Go to your local comic book store on May 2nd and say, hey, I want some free comic books. And by God, they will give you some.
And a lot of times they put their best shit out for free. Yeah. They say, okay, this is the time where we can get people who don't usually read comics, and we can get them in the store to grab a free Green Lantern. And from what I understand, there's some really good stuff
And-
coming
and-
out.
odds are
that's
if
the
they're gonna-
time when the people who do read comics come and swipe it all.
Yeah. Well, this is the day that like, you know, the crack dealer walks the block and gives everybody the free taste so that they will come back over and over again. So,
Which, you know, I mean, a lot of stores put a lot of their stuff on sale on that day as well, hoping
exactly.
that you're going to, buy more.
So if you're a comics nerd, and
or if you hope to be one,
Or
someday.
if you're listening to this podcast.
yeah, if you're a comics nerd, which pretty much if you're listening to this, you are.
Yeah.
Then grab a couple of people, grab a couple of kids for God's sakes, because there's all sorts of kid-friendly stuff that they,
Make sure there's no cops around.
Make sure, yeah.
grab a couple of kids and
any
give them
random kids.
Load
give
up
them
your
that
car
free
with candy.
copy of Transmetropolitan that you know that they've been sweating their hands off.
Yeah,
for.
watch out for the Amber Alerts. Try to stay away from intersection cameras or anything like that. But
Stick
no.
them back in your trunk with some warm milk, and they'll be happy as cats until you get
God's
them
sakes.
back to your deserted lair.
Drag people who don't read them in, or just grab them and give them to them. Whatever you can do to get more people into the lifestyle.
For that matter, your comics aren't going to be worth anything. They're just not. Just give them to people who haven't read comics yet. Give them to them,
Your whole
Leon.
scenario is like that very special episode of Different Strokes where Dudley got raped by the Maytag repairman.
I thought it was the bicycle repair guy.
Think of yourself as Gary Coleman, and think of comics as a strange
And
penis.
send your friend into the mysterious store to get fucked.
There was a male rape episode of Different Strokes.
Yes,
yeah,
yes,
it
totally.
was.
Yes, a pedophile episode of Different
See,
Strokes.
this is why I
Dude, why do you
left
think I
Different
know that
Strokes.
theme song?
This is why I left Different
Why
Strokes
do you
for
think
Silver
Mr.
Spoons, okay?
Drummond...
The very different.
Why do you
You know
think
what? You know
Mr.
what?
Drummond looked like a penis?
No,
Come
no,
on,
no.
that dude looks like a penis.
Stop right there.
Okay.
He's like, Willis, well, you're growing up, aren't you? How about some Jesus juice?
What you cocking about, Willis?
All right.
Talking about sodomy.
Let's get into the important business of talking about the masturbatory habit of playing video games.
Yes. And Bo will be back in a little while with more chances to talk about things he knows. But in the
Yes,
meantime,
and I'm going to go masturbate now.
let's bring out our first guest.
Say goodbye to Bo, everybody.
Bye, Bo.
See you, Bo.
Our first guest here is Michael Myers from the Woods.
Stop it.
Outside. What? Oh, Lance Myers.
Myers.
From. Like I wasn't gonna make that joke. You know
Really?
how bad I
That's
am.
the joke you came up with?
That's
You
what
could have gone with like Lance snack cakes and peanuts.
That's because
Lance
no
Bass?
one but you is old enough to remember Lance snack cake.
Man,
Clarification: Are you talking about Michael Myers, the killer, or
The
Michael
killer.
Myers, the gold?
Shrek.
aren't they pretty much the same guy? Has no one else seen the Love
One of them
Guru?
makes people feel horrible, uncomfortable pain, and the other one wears a mask and tries to kill himself. Hey.
So we have Lance Myers from the company Fizz Factor.
Yes.
Now, wait,
th-
wait. Let me set some things up about
You go
Lance.
ahead. Yeah,
because I've known Lance. Lance, we've known each other. I'd say about 15 years.
Take it,
At
Leon.
the least.
Yeah, at least maybe even longer. And before Lance doing this, Lance is like one of the best animators I've ever seen. Like extremely talented. He's another Chris Ware, who's also one of your contemporaries. But I always thought like you guys were evenly matched. Lance also had a band that he was the lead singer of called Gals Panic.
You were in Gals Panic?
He was the lead singer of Gals
Fuck
Panic.
you!
That was
Really?
me.
Oh my God! I saw y'all a bunch of times.
Really?
And
yeah,
the funny
but
thing
like,
is,
forever ago.
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
you know Lance, and Lance is like one of the like most mildest, politest guys you ever meet. And he'd get on stage. No, I'd watch you get on stage. You turn into Iggy Pop, and you were just a monster. You rip your shirt off, and you were right in the audience's face. It was amazing.
Good times.
But as far as doing animation, now Lance also did the Ted Zone, which I believe showed on Adult Swim at some point.
It did. Yeah.
The Ted Zone.
Yes.
I'm totally unfamiliar
Yeah,
with
well,
that
it
one.
kind of went under the radar because it was part of Turner Broadcasting's attempt at doing a comedy website. You know, kind of like their funny part.
The Super Deluxe,
Yeah,
was
it's
it?
called Super Deluxe.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And you know,
I remember
very
that.
thank you very much because very few people seem to know.
Yeah.
They, you know, it was a great site. It was a fantastic site. But then at a certain point, they decided that they have Super Deluxe and they have Adult Swim. Now, what's more recognizable? Adult Swim is like the established brand,
Right.
right?
Sure.
So they decided to just, cut the, quit competing with themselves.
Yeah.
And do the Adult Swim brand. That's
Now, I went on there today to look for it because I wanted to send these guys links.
Right.
And Ted Zone's not on there.
Ted Zone is not on there. Of the 200 or so original series that they actually paid for,
Like a lot of the Brad Neely
and Foster.
stuff.
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
I think 2 of the series actually carried over into the Adult Swim. Now, Ted Zone was on AdultSwim.com for a little while.
Yeah.
But I guess they couldn't bring them all over, and sadly, they didn't.
Well,
They didn't
that
run
sucks.
with the Ted Zone.
That sucks, man.
Yeah.
Because your work is beautiful. I like
Clearly,
it.
it
much.
would have been awesome. A cartoon about Iggy Pop. Wait,
What?
I wasn't paying attention for a minute. I got lost there.
The Ted Zone is all about what you guys talk
Yeah,
about.
yeah.
Oh.
The guy's like a super nerd. He's like Toby from American
Toby Radloff from
American Splendor.
Yeah. Did you ever see? You know what I'm
Oh
talking about?
yeah, oh yeah.
God, that
Toby
train
Radloff
wreck.
was my voice talent.
Like
Okay,
no
so
matter
he actually did the voice
Yeah,
for
yeah,
it.
he did the voice. For the
Okay,
main
I got
character.
to ask you because no matter how big a dork you are, Toby is a bigger dork.
Yes, that's true.
He's like the one guy you can go. At least I'm not that dork.
Well, I don't.
Is that
I don't know
true,
that
though?
Bo can say that.
But but I got to know him a little bit. I never actually met him because I recorded him remotely from Cleveland, Ohio.
Oh, okay.
And so I directed him over the phone, which was a cool experience. But on a say monthly basis, I would call in and we'd do a session, and I'd send him the script, and then we'd just shoot the breeze. Super cool guy.
Clearly, he has Asperger's syndrome. Come on.
It's
really?
Leon's diagnosing.
he does have a very distinct way of speaking,
Yeah.
which is why I wanted him.
Yeah.
And he plays the role so well.
Yeah.
But you could not ask for a nicer, cooler.
No, I
You
heard
guys, you guys can't hear this, but Greg is over here doing a spot-on impersonation.
Well, I
Let's
heard
hear it.
him.
Let's see. I want to hear
It's
it.
cracking me up.
I'm just going by what I remember in the movie. Just going by what I remember in the movie, which is like, I don't have Asperger's syndrome. That was that good. Now, this is why I play guitar, folks.
Yeah. I was-
Back
It
on
was,
the guitar.
it was actually.
Damn it, that was my
kind
insult.
of a Snuffleupagus thing. It was better when I was the only one listening, and then I put the mic on him, and I'm the asshole for drawing attention to it.
No, it's not your fault. Asperger's, I feel terrible because I find it so funny. I do. I feel awful about it, and I know that I'm a bad person. But
Really?
there are some things about
a
Asperger's that
made-up
are just
disease.
plain
Fuck
funny.
them.
I'm sorry.
Well, I don't know that
That's
that
horrible.
Toby
I'm a bad person.
Has anything of the sort, but he has a very distinct way of speaking and a sort of a different take on life anyway. So
It's a good way to put it.
yeah,
Some people
wonderful-
are just
wonderful guy to
plain
work with.
odd. There's nothing wrong with them per se. They're just different.
No,
Yeah.
dude, they're
So
weirdos.
says the
That's right.
leader of
That's
the
what-
league.
And you should support them and have sex with them.
and send them things to their Amazon wish list.
Okay, so Lance, Fizz Factor. Now you've worked on a bunch of games. Like I know some Barbie stuff and
Hell yeah!
and
was awesome.
and was that for Fizz Factor?
No. That was back in the Human Code days.
Oh,
Which-
Human Code. Now
you
he
know-
worked with Corey back at Human
I
Code.
played
right,
some of
yeah,
those
that's
Barbie
right.
games actually. There was that one where you put in the code and you could on the horse riding game you
Shut
could
up.
break her hymen.
Shut up.
Dude, that is not going to go well in your court case. Seriously.
That I did not know.
I've been
Even
going with
I
that.
did not know that there was a code.
I've been using the hymen breaking joke for horseback riding for a couple days now. I don't know how that got in my head, so I'm just gonna. Well, we just saw the Hannah Montana movie, and it's a long story.
when you're in a hole, stop digging.
So this is what I do, Leon. Haven't you figured that out?
Is rape little girls?
No, I volunteer to be in the hole.
Fizz Factory, eh?
Yo, so
what's that
so
about?
Fizz Factor, Lance.
Nice segue.
Yeah.
So Lance, you went from traditional or semi-traditional animation to video games. How'd you get started with that?
Okay, so yeah, it was all the way back to Heart of Texas was where I learned the traditional 2D
Right.
animation stuff. when I got the job at Humicode, I had never even like touched a mouse or didn't know what that tan box that had the like TV like thing.
Right.
You call it
I
a tan
had no idea.
box. It's pretty telling.
Yeah, right. So I had no idea. But sort of like going into Heart of Texas, where they, did the on-the-job training with the animation stuff. Humicode was kind enough. They said, well, the basics of animation. We'll teach you this, how to do it on a computer. And
Right.
So it was on-the-job training, and it was great. And
Because, just for anybody out there, it's easier if you're already a traditional animator and artist to learn the computer than it is to be somebody who's a computer person and learn to draw.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I had somebody actually who wanted me to teach, after having learned Flash and done that for years, somebody came to me and said, I know, Flash is a hot program, and I'd love to get a job doing it. So can you teach me? And I was like, well, okay. And he said, I figure I'll put about 2 weeks of work into it, and I'll go get a job. Like, yeah, okay.
It's funny.
Sure.
Coding
Good
is
luck with that.
The hardest part of coding stuff is just that initial period when you go, oh my God, this is really confusing. This is going to be hard. I don't think I can do this. And once you get past that, yeah, you can do it. It's not that hard.
I have been telling Grant that for the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And I think he's got it now.
But the drawing thing, that doesn't work that way. You go, wow, this is hard. And if you say that, the odds are you're still never going to probably be able to draw.
I get a lot of
with
people
this
who
shit,
say stuff like, when I show my animation, and people who are totally clueless, even people who are close to me who should know better, they say like, okay, well, did you draw that, or is that computer? Or did you use the computer?
Right.
It's like,
right.
wait,
what's the
no,
difference?
I'm drawing this, and
Yeah.
I'm still, I use a Wacom tablet. It's the same damn
Yeah.
thing. I am drawing it.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not, the computer is not, I don't press the draw button and then sit back and
There's a lot
read
of
a comic book
the
or something.
computer does the rest.
You
You're like,
select
well,
the smooth lines function on
you're
there.
talking.
Cheater.
It's like talking to Magil Roddenberry all day, going, "Well, Magil, I just need you to do this construction for me of this drawing."
Well, I
No
love how
problem.
I meet people all the time. They go like, "Hey, you do animation. What would it take for you to do me an animated cartoon?" And I tell them like, I tell you what. Next time you see an animated cartoon, I want you to see how many names show up in the credits when it ends.
Right.
And
Or,
you-
what would it
my
take?
favorite is like somebody asked me one time to do a little bit of animation. She didn't know anything about it. And bless her heart, one of my best friends.
Yeah.
I still didn't know the kind of work that goes into. She was getting married and wanted me to do a CD-ROM invitation where it's like, oh, can you do some animation for my CD-ROM invitation?
Nah.
And it won't be anything big, just a couple of minutes.
It's a lot
a
of
couple
work.
minutes. Oh my god!
All right, and you're getting married in, 2015?
Dude,
Yeah.
when I've done the things on Spill that are just the preset animations that have already been built,
Yeah.
where I'm just throwing a few images into it and setting audio on top of it, that takes me like a day and a half to do one of those, and that's the easiest thing that probably you
That's-
could do with.
That's why it's so impressive when the Corey and those guys crank out those animations.
Corey's insane. That
I just
way,
can't
though.
believe
He
they
is.
do it so fast.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
He
when
is
he
a
told me
monster.
the schedule for my.
Oh yeah.
Ah,
It's
geez,
basically 3 days.
You have no idea what it
insane.
used to be like either, because Corey for a while there
Was doing
had
it all
a
by
very
himself.
hard time being delegating responsibility.
yeah. I
for
can
his
see that
stuff.
about him, yeah.
And it was just crazy. He was sleeping 2 hours a night, like with no exaggeration, just to get it all done.
Yeah, he and then he'd have a couple beers and then cuss us all out and apologize for it.
It wasn't like the old Real Deal days where he'd be drunk as hell when he was heading the comm and go, you know what? I'm sick of y'all's shit. And we were just reviewing the movie. What the fuck has just happened?
So
the
you
good old days.
you work in the industry. What's that like?
Hey, all right.
All right,
John
back to
Beckett
that.
almost forgot he's a video game
Yeah,
designer.
just shooting the shit here.
It's terrible. Forget it.
Yeah,
I'm out of here. I'm going back to animation with.
You can quit. Come join the league.
Well, okay, so you're working for Fizz Factor. What games are you currently involved
that you can
with?
talk about.
that
you
I can talk about. I think
Nothing.
I think I can talk about this.
no one listens to this. It's cool.
What's that? No, no one listens.
Yeah. We have like 6 fans. It's all right.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll say this. We just for the past 4 years we've done exclusively handheld Nintendo DS.
Oh, cool.
Oh, right on.
So we're the guys who, I mean,
That
I guess
is the one game system that I own. Is a
Oh,
DS.
you do have
Well,
one.
there
I have
you
a
go.
DS.
I
yeah.
think it's rapidly overtaking them all. I think
Really?
PS2 is the only one that's ahead of it, but
Whoa.
the
'Cause
DS
It's fucking awesome.
So I'm a good first guest, I guess, because I'm like ushering in. I'm not a hardcore gamer type. It's like I'm doing the, like the IP, like Happy Meal games, basically.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, we do mostly stuff that goes along with movies. Like we did the Hulk game.
Oh,
right
see,
on.
I heard
Yes.
that was a fantastic game, though.
I was super proud of that game. My kid, oftentimes I'll bring home a game and I'll be like, "Hey, I just made this," and he's like, he'll give it a chance, maybe because I worked on it. And
maybe
then
not
a day
the Barbie.
later,
Maybe
it's
not
like,
the Barbie ones.
Not
but-
the Barbie. Well, actually, yeah, Barbie one was good.
Really? Okay. Well,
I've heard
fair
good
enough.
things about it.
It was the top-selling CD-ROM of its time.
I realize that I'm not really qualified to talk shit about the Barbie game.
It won all kinds of awards. I'll tell you what. It was my very first 3D, my foray into 3D.
Okay.
That's what I learned on.
So you do a lot of the artwork in the games?
I'm the art director of Fizz Factor.
Oh, wow.
Whoa!
Hey.
No, see,
Congratulations.
Yeah, a little
last time
respect
I really,
around here.
last time I really
Yeah.
talked to you, you were like the concept artist. I didn't know you became the art director.
I was concept artist at Acclaim.
Acclaim, that's
yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Which,
Oh,
which
okay.
back before it went under, for the longest time, was a huge
Yeah.
development
Well, they
studio.
were Iguana and then Acclaim.
That's
right.
right,
Is
yeah.
that what happened? Or at least the Austin-based one.
Right.
It
Well,
was.
Acclaim, Double Dragon, right? That's was
Let's
Acclaim.
see, well,
NFL Blitz?
in-
Isn't that a claim?
In my time, it was Turok.
Yeah, I was gonna say Turok,
doing-
yeah. Stone.
Turok was the big local
Turok
one.
was the big
Yeah.
local success.
I
yeah.
did all the cinemas on Turok Evolution, and then
On
Vex. Vex, which is like
Oh, Vex, yeah.
it's a great game. It's one of those poor things that just didn't sell and didn't get marketed properly, but it's a great game, really good.
Vex is a very cool game on Sega Genesis. Or
No, this was let's see, it was developed for Xbox, the original Xbox, the PS2, and the GameCube.
Yeah, it was a generation above. Yeah,
Yeah.
right. So, okay, you were telling us about some stuff you were working on right now.
Yeah. So I worked on console games with Acclaim, and then after Acclaim, worked on Scanner Darkly. Did animation on Scanner Darkly.
Now, a bunch of the guys we got here
Yeah,
worked on Scanner
we
Darkly.
know.
Yeah, yeah.
The
I know
movie.
so many people who worked on that.
Austin.
Yeah,
on that
right. Well,
movie,
it's
yeah.
Austin, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
this-
Well, that's where they got it. Every animator in town at least interviewed for
Yeah,
that job.
yeah.
You know.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
one of the funnest jobs I ever.
Was
it's
it really?
So
See,
great.
you were one
I
of the-
loved working on.
You're
that.
one of the
I've
people who
heard
came
that.
out of that on the positive side.
Yeah, I heard
'cause
so many
there
negative
were-
stories.
Oh,
of
it was
people.
insane. It was a storm and a half. It was really, really crazy. It was very chaotic. But the people. Here's the thing. Okay, working in the gaming industry, I'm an artist, and my background is in 2D stuff and comic books,
Right.
and Mad Magazine, and things like that. It's like I'm kind of a fanboy geek about a lot of like people who can really draw. And when you get into games, there's three disciplines. There's the art side, there's the design side, and then there's the programming side. Not a lot of people, like people who don't know the industry and don't study it or whatever, don't play a lot of games, maybe don't understand the difference between design and art. I mean, design is
Right.
like designers have to design the experience, so it's their job to make it fun. And like, here's what you do to get this: you collect this, you jump on this, you do that.
Well,
you
they're
know?
designing the whole concept of the game and
Right,
why
right.
anyone would want to play it in the
Yeah,
first
they're
place.
the ones who decide. Make
Sounds
the
like
difference
a
between,
director.
Well, in a way, the producer's more the director, if you want
Okay.
to make that analogy.
Okay.
But the designer, it's like, it's like if you're going to make a board game.
Yeah.
A board game you have to build the strategies and balance out. Like, okay, well,
Those
if I
are the
do
ones
this-
you don't plug in, right?
exactly.
I've heard of those.
There's a whole skill and a whole talent to creating something that involves whether it be strategy or chance or whatever, and progresses and feels fair and feels like if you've ever tried to make up a game, it's kind of difficult to come up with something that engages you, takes the proper amount of time, makes you feel like you're empowered and cool while you're playing it, or like suspenseful. All that sort of thing is very, very difficult to capture, and it takes a real talent, and that's what the designer does.
Well, let's face it, 1 out of every 20 games maybe is actually
yeah,
any
yeah,
good.
yeah.
At best.
Yeah, at best.
And I find it's a very, very tough thing to interview a designer and find out exactly. I mean, because how do you know until they've actually created a game if they're good at it?
Yeah.
And so many people think that, making a game is all wine and roses, but it's a bitch.
It's very,
It's
very.
a lot of
tricky.
work.
It's very tricky. So anyway, the three disciplines: the art, the design, and the programming. The art just makes it look pretty, and it's all the aesthetics. It doesn't have anything to do with design, basically. I mean, they all overlap in some places, but I forget where I was going with this. Oh, I know what I was saying.
It's the beer.
The
It happens to
yeah,
all of us.
The
trust
fact
me.
that there are three disciplines means that only 1/3 of the people I work with are like art geeks.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I deal with a lot of people who don't necessarily share the same interests that I do as far as that goes. Scanner was completely different because Scanner, every person on there was like a phenomenal artists. They're
Right.
really good at drawing. So I'm sitting in a room full of people who know who Morton Drucker is, who know who George Woodbridge or some of these John Byrne or whatever. Anybody that I grew up looking at their stuff, and that's how I learned to draw, and that's what I was emulating. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that was great. That was heaven. Coming to work every day and just shooting the breeze about.
I can see that.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you, first off, just from your company, what do you want to promote, real quick? Just say what's coming out, what's to look for, and then we're gonna ask a fan question or two for you to be a part
not
of.
just from your company.
Yeah,
but pimp yourself.
Yeah, you might want to pimp yourself more than the company.
Gotcha.
Because here's your chance. Every video game professional in the world will hear this.
It's too bad you caught me between projects as far as my own personal work goes. I'd love to plug Ted Zone, but where the hell is it now?
Plug
Yeah.
whatever the hell you want.
Okay, Lance, the thing I know about you is that whatever day job you have, you're always working on something on the side. What are you currently working on the side?
All right. Ted Zone ended about 6 months ago. And actually, about 6 months before that, Turner Broadcasting still had a lot of they really believed in Super Deluxe, and they were still like trying to build new property for it. So they asked me to come up with something else, and I came up with a series called Skip and Lester.
Yeah.
And so I created this one pilot episode called Skip and Lester. Here's the stapler if you need it.
Yeah.
And
Here's a stapler if you need it.
yeah, so I finished that right about the time Super Deluxe went under, and so I immediately sent that off, and the day that Spike and Mike got it, they sent me a contract. So it's in the Spike and Mike's touring festival.
okay.
all right.
Okay, so I haven't been to a Spike and Mike forever
God,
because
I know.
like most of
Because
the
of
they
YouTube.
show. Yeah, exactly. You can see it on YouTube or
Right.
Adult Swim.
Yeah.
It seems to not really serve much purpose to go.
And
to
it was
these days.
honestly, I stopped going years ago just because I was like, I would go one year and see these awesome cartoons, and then I go the next year and see the same awesome cartoons.
know.
Except
And then
There's a
one
new
more.
one out there. It's called Skip and Lester. Here's the stapler if you need it.
okay,
Is
all right.
this
Fair
online somewhere?
It is not online yet.
Oh, see.
So
you
yeah.
should make that a Spill exclusive. You should give us the video
Yeah.
for that,
Hey.
and we can play. We can pimp that on Spill for.
But
you.
I will tell you
Leog
this.
exclusive.
Yeah, there
Everyone
you
out
go.
there who's listening right now, open a little new tab in your Mozilla and go to thevideo2.com. That's thevideo2.com. The sequel or the follow-up episode to the Skip and Lester thing that's in the Spike and Mike Touring Festival is on that website.
Oh, right on.
And it is called, I don't even know if it has a title yet, but it's a very short little follow-up episode, but you'll get to know the characters. It's Skip and Lester.
Okay, well we'll go and look for it.
Lance, video games. You playing anything right now?
When I bought...
That's a no. Shut the fuck
No,
up.
when I bought...
I don't play games.
The answer might surprise you. When I bought Planet Puzzle League for my DS about probably a year ago, I don't think it's left my DS since.
I heard that was actually pretty badass.
Well, see, it's a redo of a game called Pokemon Puzzle League, which is actually a superior product for the Nintendo 64. When you put the Pokemon in there, it's a little more fun. But the same mechanic is still in Planet Puzzle League. It's so great. I can't stop playing it. But
Wow.
I'm more one to play kind of the casual game type stuff. I'm not
Sure,
really a
yeah.
hardcore. I have 3 kids, so I don't have time for an
There's nothing wrong with
MMO
it.
at all.
The-
You know?
Correct me if I'm wrong. That's kind of where the market's going. Is more casual games or games that are quick for anybody to come and pick up. You don't have
Absolutely.
to be a hardcore gamer.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
don't have to be.
Well, there's still the hardcore gaming audience out there, but yeah, the casual games are picking up steam for sure, and it's targeting a completely different audience.
The Virtual Console on Wii just is cranking out all sorts of just little quick games they make.
I have a PS3 and an Xbox 360, and the one I play more than anything is Geometry Wars,
Yeah.
which is just a total. Which is a total, just boot it up, play for 5 minutes, and then put it down. It's total casual, old school arcade gaming, and it's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
the really involved.
Well, see, yeah, that's all I can really do. Like I said, I have 3 kids. I have a job, a full-time job, plus side projects that I try to keep up with, and all I have time for, is like Planet Puzzle League or whatever my kids are playing. I'll sit in and challenge them. They're my 6-year-old. Thinks he's a big kid because he's been playing Force Unleashed for a while.
Which
I
I
wanna
haven't
play
played the whole
that.
thing, but the demo of it is fucking
It's beautiful.
awesome.
I tell you,
The demo is nice.
I mean, I've said this before, and I went to San Diego Comic Con, and they showed a preview for Force Unleashed, and they showed Clone Wars. I was like, You guys are morons. Force Unleashed should be your movie.
Yes.
And Clone Wars should be your video
absolutely.
game.
Oh,
Yes.
But I heard that the game itself isn't as fun because I thought, man,
Yeah.
you have that with your Wiimote in your hand, and your Wiimote is now your lightsaber, and you can play that. I thought that'd be amazing, but I haven't heard like rave reviews from people about it.
Yeah, I heard the game
Playing it.
itself was okay, but the demo is. I mean, you're picking stormtroopers up and throwing them at each other and smashing
yeah.
doors.
Well,
I tell you, the
God.
proof is in the pudding, and it's like, when my kids play, I have a 15-year-old boy and a 6-year-old boy, and what they play together and how they play and what each one of them likes, that really tells you a lot.
You got a 15-year-old?
I got a 17-year-old.
You look
Jesus.
like you look like you're all of 30.
He's Benjamin Button.
I
Go
know.
backwards here.
The cross between Benjamin Button and Iggy Pop, as she said.
Okay, now, Lance,
Have you ever smeared peanut butter on yourself and jumped into a crowd? Is what
I
we need to know.
plead the fifth on
So, Leon, we really have to move.
No,
this on.
I know. I want to ask him one question before he leaves. 'Cause
Well,
it's a question-
I want to do the fan questions with him.
Okay.
Is what
Well,
I
then
want to
fine.
do.
Go ahead.
Is that okay?
That's fine.
Unless you have something brilliant.
No, I'll ask somebody else this question.
Okay, all right. All right, so we have a bunch of fan questions that we're going to try and give everybody a question or two before they leave to go in that we all answer, but, we'll have you in for it. And this one is from Jonesy, who says, I get a real kick out of most high-profile games, but I recently stumbled upon two gems called Penumbra, a Lovecraftian first-person survival horror game, and Indigo Prophecy, a pseudo-interactive movie with shades of the X-Files. So what, if any, indie or not well-known video games do we play or would like to pimp?
Oh.
Oh, wow.
Well,
And
I have Indigo Prophecy, but I haven't played it yet.
Okay, I have not even touched
It's
that.
supposed to be a really cool, kind of creepy, mysterious game. I'll let you borrow it. It's PlayStation.
Well, it sounds right up my alley.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it's supposed to be really good. But I haven't heard of Penumbra. You said Lovecraftian. And
Yeah,
my ears
that right
perked
there.
up.
Yeah, I could feel you glowing in the corner. But does anybody have a good answer for this?
I don't have anything that's obscure.
Yeah.
I mean, I got like 3 or 4 favorite games, and none of those are obscure.
Grant's obviously got
No.
something over here.
Well,
He's-
no, I have a game I just got that is being promoted on the Wii. It's called World of Goo. It's their number one.
I like that.
Their number one game on the Virtual Console, I guess, being downloaded, and apparently it was just developed by two guys and it's on a physics-driven engine where everything has its consequences as you move these little characters. There's gravity and weight and a lot of math behind everything, and it is addictively fun. I haven't been able to stop playing it. As soon as I get home, I turn it back on and I have to play some more. But you're just building structures with things. It's very much like Lemmings.
Which is
but
a
I
classic
guess
time
these
waster.
guys won an award for creating this, and so Nintendo picked it up and started putting it on there.
Okay.
That's
Alex,
how
did you
Portal
have something
happened.
there?
Yeah,
Portal's badass. Yeah, I love that game.
Oh, Portal is so fun.
I love Portal.
I actually played a while back a game called Braid, which
I was about to say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Braid's an awesome game, especially I'm a girl, so stereotypically I'm not a shooter player. I don't play those games, but it's all puzzles and time does creepy stuff, and it doesn't give you a whole lot of direction, and you figure it out, and it's
So
super fun.
there's
And the
like-
story is
there's
awesome.
There's no
right? It's like
braiding another
downloadable?
girl's hair in it.
No, My Pretty Pony.
I know that was Leon and I both
Cry.
looking at each other at that moment, like, really?
Braid.
Braid.
Braid
It's like
is
a girl
phenomenal.
game.
It's
You've got to
on
have.
the,
It's like Katamari
Xbox.
Damacy, where you've got to move the two like
Okay, yeah, and apparently
sticks just right.
Adam's telling us it's on the PC as well. It's it's
It's got that
really
kind of like
cool.
Prince
it's got
of
this,
Persia type of mechanic where you
Yeah.
can rewind time if you mess up or whatever.
Oh,
if you
that's
die,
kinda
it just
cool.
rewinds.
Yeah.
And it's got this weird, peaceful feel to it where it's really.
From what I understand,
different.
it was kind of a passion project too, of like this guy who just like sort of what you've seen no.
There's like 4 names in the credits.
All right. But anyway,
He can come in anytime you want to let him in. We've got a local video game critic / blogger here who's keeps standing in the background going, I could say something about that. I know. Adam.
Braid is the brainchild of this guy, Jonathan Blow, which actually, there was a bunch of stuff you were saying, particularly because your job skill seems to be more towards the, like, user experience kind of thing and all those mechanics and everything. And that was the thing that seemed to be, that everybody really attached to on Braid. It kind of has that, like, Paper Mario mechanic where it just really turns the platformer completely on its edge. And he's got some weird inner rage. Like if you read reviews with the guys, he's really kind of annoyed with the game industry as a whole. And some of it I agree with, and some of it I don't.
I find there's a lot of really opinionated, like, people who are very passionate about, like, what they're doing as far as game designers who really are very fed up with the gaming industry.
I'm a web developer by day, and I do a lot of user experience stuff, so that's a lot of, like, when I'm gaming, I'm thinking, why is this fun? Why would somebody like it? And I love talking to people about, why are you really interested in this game? And I think the why comes into it. Gama Sutra had an article recently. I think it's Ian Bagata.
Gama Sutra.
Gama Sutra.
Yeah, Gama Sutra is a website basically about the industry.
It teaches you new ways to masturbate.
Oh. I thought I had them all.
Rumble for a reason.
Haptic feedback, yes, is basically the new vibrator. Yes. Oh yeah, there's remote masseuse, right, for the XBLA.
Really?
There's
my God.
actually a game designed to use your remote function if you're a woman.
Remote
And now's
fucking
you
masseuse,
reached the bonus stage. Sit on the controller.
Weirdly, it's on like if you
that
go
what
on the
it is?
popular titles of Xbox, remote masseuse is like the third most downloaded.
Okay,
It's ridiculous.
okay. I'm not shocked, really.
Either people are curious.
I would
or-
think that would be more popular with the Wii, really, just because of the controller shape. But that's all.
We create IP, like, licensed products that, it's like you've got 6 months to create a Justice League of America game.
Right.
And it's like, and it has to have these characters in it.
Wait,
and they
wait a
have to
second,
do their-
Lance. Are you saying that there are analogs to Dan DiDio and Joe Quesada in the video game universe? Because I'm in.
There's your Joe
I'm
Quesada
fucking
reference.
in.
Thank you.
Yeah,
You can
dude.
drink your first shot of
take
the
a
night.
drink.
But, it's
Werewolf,
like,
werewolf.
They're our bosses, basically. They're telling us what we have to do and what we have to put into our games, and it's like shoehorning certain elements in that just don't necessarily fit, and they don't fit according to us because we're trying to create a cool experience. It fits to them because they've got a marketing department to satisfy.
Sure.
And thus, all licensed games suck.
Not all. Not all. Because it's our job, that's our challenge, is to say,
And so
okay,
within 6 months, make a game that kicks ass and satisfies
occasionally we get
these
lucky.
people. Yeah.
It's part of the reason why
my 6-year-old is still playing Hulk.
Okay, Lance.
I'm very proud of the
okay,
Hulk game.
Lance, I hear what you're saying, but let's talk percentages. Percentage-wise, how many kick ass and how many suck?
This is part of the-
my boss might be listening.
No, I
Fair
mean,
enough.
I see
Fair
what
enough.
you're getting at, Leon. You're going for that whole like commerce. It's commerce. It's hard to do art
Yeah.
in the world where it's so commerce.
Well, just with licensed games. I mean, the guys who create the licensed games, the deck is stacked against them.
Yeah,
'Cause
sure.
It's like, hey, our movie just came out. We need this game as soon as possible. We need you to use these things.
Well, all you have to do is
and
play any
you have
of
to give
the-
up a lot of your revenue to
Yeah.
us because we own the license.
All you have to do is
Go
play
for it.
any of the Harry Potter games, any Batman game, except for maybe the new Arkham Asylum.
Arkham Asylum.
Up until recently, licensed games, that was just a death mark. If it was licensed from another property, whether it was a movie or a comic book or whatever, it was
Was it? Well, except Star Trek.
Wait, what's Star Wars? Because
And
that's all.
Star
That's all
Wars, yeah.
internal.
No, Star Wars and Star
the
Trek both
X-Men
had quite a few
games,
games.
I thought X-Men.
I don't know,
Legends
dude.
was
I
great.
bought a DS9
I've
game
played
that
some
sucked.
shitty
No, that
dog
game
days.
You
sucked.
look at
yes,
you look at what Red Eye Fly or Red Fly Design right now is doing with the Ghostbusters thing. And apparently,
Oh, that's
Sigourney
beautiful.
Weaver-
which looks
Yeah.
amazing. Well, that
Well,
everything's
Sigourney Weaver
changed
didn't
now.
want to offer her voice to it. I think they got Zoe Deschanel or
Really?
yeah,
Really?
somebody else. I forget who the heck.
That always
No,
cracks me
it's,
up when they get spend a lot of money on a voice talent for a game.
We
and-
couldn't
No,
get
that's
James
right.
Earl
Who's
Jones,
the boss?
but Woody Allen was willing to come in and sub for him.
No, it's from Who's the Boss? What the heck's her name?
Tony Danza?
Yes, Alyssa Milano. Thank
Which
you. Yeah, they-
reminds me tonight the
because she
part
was
of Bo
basically
was
like,
played
well-
by an angry homeless guy.
She was basically like, well, movie tie-ins always suck, so I'm not going to do it.
Seriously,
And-
up until like this generation of consoles is when when licensed games were actually worth a damn. I mean, only a couple of them on the previous generation, Xbox, PS2, were good, like Spider-Man 2 or
I
Hulk
think
Ultimate Destruction.
the obvious mention here is E.T., which is in a landfill in
Yep.
Arizona. Or
It's
something.
not in a landfill. It is a
right.
landfill.
It's ground and
Literally,
buried and has
yeah.
become
Yeah.
a landfill. Yeah.
But anyway, Lance, thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, thanks for having
I
me.
really appreciate it. You were awesome. Thank you for putting up with our silliness.
Enjoyed it quite a bit. Thank you.
Skip and Lester? Skip
Skip and Lester, here's the stapler if you need it. Thevideo2.com. That's VIDEOTWO.com. Please go check it out.
Cool.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks a lot,
Thank
Lance.
you. Okay, that was fun. So now we're back.
So, did you guys get to the whole giant robots versus dinosaurs debate?
Oh,
No,
I
no, no, no,
totally
no.
forgot.
No, no,
God damn it.
that's coming up.
Go ahead, lead that discussion.
Yeah. We can let you
All
take
right,
that one.
I think the giant. Never mind.
I would just go. That's just the most awesome.
Remember,
shit
kids, May 20th, Free Comics Day.
Free Comics Day.
And remember, comic books still cheaper than video games.
Now, generally on Free Comics Day, they have a table where they set out all the comics that are free that you can take. However, depending on how they word their advertising, you can possibly walk into the store and just take whatever comics you want
and depending
for free.
yes,
Different stores have different standards. Usually it's 3.
and depending on how dark the corners are in your local comic book shop, you might be able to walk out of there with like a whole collection of maquettes. You never know.
Hey, I'm saying go for the Marvel Masterworks and the DC Absolutes
If
and just
you-
walk straight out the door.
if you
And when
do-
the cops come, you go like, dude, it says Free Comics Day.
If you do lift the pewter replica web shooters, I'm just saying my birthday's coming up in August and it's
That's
on
true.
the list.
Just pretend you have Asperger's.
Grab yourself an X-Men omnibus and send it to old Jason.
I didn't understand it said Free Comics Day. There's a Comics Day on the wall, and so I grabbed all the comics.
Just go, dude.
Sorry, that is so not funny.
Cyrus
I'm
keeps-
sorry.
Cyrus comes in with a shopping cart
well,
full of tentacle porn.
I tell you what. No. Well,
I actually
here's
own all the major titles.
Here's the
already.
deal: when you go, wear a football helmet,
Yeah.
preferably a leather
All right,
one.
no, we're segueing into some very uncomfortable territory. Moving on.
Bo used to have Asperger's. That's not funny.
What do you mean used to? Why do you think I know all this useless bullshit?
He still wears Velcro shoes.
Asperger is a funny
You
word.
shut up! My mom bought me those shoes.
I sincerely apologize to anyone who has
was retarded enough to
Asperger's
listen to
Oh,
this.
has
God,
Velcro shoes.
or knows someone or is
I
offended on
sincerely
any level.
apologize to most of our major fans.
I swear to God, I was talking to one of my best friends in the store, and
Oh, and by the way,
I mean,
speaking of Asperger's syndrome, I'm sorry, Leon. Speaking of Asperger's syndrome, the next fucking person who posts the Watchmen Saturday morning cartoon YouTube video, I will personally fucking scare to death.
Yes, we know
Strong
who you
together,
are.
united for
You
us.
shut up!
We know who you are. We've seen it.
I know.
You've seen it. It's not funny
Yeah,
anymore.
seriously, before you post, look around the site and see if anybody's posted it before.
Even just a little bit.
I know, 1,100 times.
A casual glance at
I
Spill will
love the
reveal
guy
this.
who, like, after hearing Grant's theme song based on that, say like, "Hey, I think he got it from this cartoon." It's like,
No,
really?
Really? You think so?
You put
Yeah.
that together all by yourself, did
Well,
you?
you're regular Columbo,
know,
aren't you?
Well, yeah, I was watching the show and it seemed like you
That Weird Al song sounds a lot like a Nirvana song. I'm just saying.
I think
It
he's
does.
ripping off Nirvana. Have you ever, in fact, have you ever heard Eat It? I don't think that's entirely original.
Dude, Michael Jackson should sue that guy and buy Neverland Ranch back.
And by that, we mean Grant is the Weird Al of Leon.
Yes, he is.
And by that,
Awesome.
by
That's a
that we
compliment.
mean
Yeah.
that Grant was actually molested by Michael Jackson.
But Grant,
I
it's
love
a double-edged
your perm.
sword. It's like, hey, you got the compliment. You're the Weird Al, but what's your next tune?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Now you
yeah.
are expected to produce.
Next
Funny
week,
boy.
you gotta have a new theme for us, or at least a new song.
I'm doing a UHF
Can you come up
movie,
with,
actually,
say, a
entitled Laserdisc. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword. It is, though. You're right, because on one hand, you're Weird Al, so you're just awesome. You may be the most awesome guy who's ever lived, and yet you have the curse of having to play an accordion.
Ooh,
So,
What? What? Are you crazy? There's nothing sexier than dudes who play the accordion.
I play the accordion.
Wow.
Except everything else in the world.
Since the rarest.
Wow, guess who has a hard-on for polka bands?
I gotta say, man, I am tolerant
Everybody in this room
of every
now.
type of music except the music with accordion.
I'll say it's
Because
no-
Tejano and
Yeah.
polka and Zydeco, you hear one song, you've heard them all.
Yeah, well, I can say is it's no wonder our fan base loves Allison so much.
You know, I know.
Because they all go, well, I'm not as nerdy as she is, so I think I can score.
They
with
got a
that."
shot.
They're all putting down their theremins and
Hey,
I play the song.
Wait.
And they're thinking to themselves, yeah, I could hit that.
Wait, Leon, you gotta tell the time that she played the saw. She pulled the saw out at her party.
well, yeah, that's right. Well, I wasn't there for it. She told
Wait a
me
second.
about it.
Shut
you-
the fuck
you
up.
left
You
at
can
that
play the
point.
saw.
I was there.
She-
Yeah,
she played
plays-
the-
Okay,
Yeah,
everybody
you were
in
there.
this room except Allison, get out.
I can play the Star Trek theme song.
Okay,
my
I take back
fucking
everything I said.
God.
You are
fucking
cooler
kidding
than any
me?
of us. That's,
you can, wait. You can play the Star Trek theme song on the saw.
I'll
you
bring
know-
it next time.
Yeah, I
Okay,
was gonna say.
okay.
Yeah.
Wait. You said next time. Okay, now I want to preview our show we have coming up.
Oh, you're talking about the .5, the female.
Yeah, we're gonna
Okay.
have a Leog chick show.
Ooh,
With
a
nothing
lady.
but us and women,
In charge.
which Allison is going to lead the
Where-
charge
where-
on.
where
Just
we're-
the
the
point
guys will take turns being the one guy in the room on the mic with the rest of the girls, and then other than that, it's going to be a whole
No,
room full of girls.
not you, Greg, because you throw the curve off.
Yeah, Greg is not invited.
Yeah, Greg.
Yeah,
Greg, it looks like we already have our instrument in the saw. We don't
I
need your
think this would be a
guitar.
Well,
perfect
Greg,
opportunity
Greg, you
for
have
me to
another
do
band,
0.5.
and y'all
I
play.
think this would be a perfect
Greg,
opportunity for you to fuck off.
Greg, you are not a saw, and Allison is not going to play you, so shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I was going to say, we would like every time someone left to go to the bathroom, Greg would be like, I gotta go get something, and then she'd never be back.
Yeah,
How you doing, baby? You know I play guitar, right?
yeah, we're not having that this
And
time.
bass.
Have I mentioned the 3 to 5 instruments I play at any given time?
Because these are supposed to be girl geeks, right? And if we do that, they're going to be cool after they sleep with you, and they won't be.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't sully them, Greg.
Hey, have I shown you my complete collection of the Legion of Superheroes? Is not going to work so much after you, so fuck off.
So I got one question that's appropriate to do with Bo here in the room, and he
Thank
probably
God.
won't have an answer, but he can at least be snarky about it.
Well, we'll let him answer first.
Mexicano asks, "What video game weapon would you use on Joe Quesada?"
Excellent.
Do they have a weapon that, like, when you press it, somebody is ass raped to death by rabid orangutans?
Yes, actually they do.
Awesome!
It's in
See?
the new Duke Nukem game. Check it out. Coming whenever.
Well, see, that would have to be immediately followed by his nearly dead figure being strapped up, hollowed out of its viscera, and then let to be played with by necrophiliacs.
Wow, that's the most specific game.
I know,
weapon
but I'm figuring, like, on one of
mean-
those big fucking guns they use in the Aliens movies, there's got to be a setting for
Well,
it.
isn't there actually a Doom gun called the BFG?
Yeah, the BFG,
the big fucking gun.
Big fucking
Yeah.
gun.
That's a big fucking gun there, but actually, that is the first big fucking gun. This is a little historical thing for you kids out there. Was in a little movie called Predator. It was carried by a little guy named Jesse Ventura, and it was a 20mm Gatling gun cannon
I ain't
that
got
he
time to
carried.
bleed.
I ain't got time to bleed. That he carried by his side, and that was the first big fucking gun. And when my friends first saw that fucking movie, for weeks afterwards, there was nothing else that we could say to each other but, "What you got there, Blaine?" "I got myself a big fucking gun."
That, by the way, no one could actually carry.
No,
and fire.
no.
It's totally
There's no-
physically impossible.
absolutely
It's,
not.
the
Yeah.
biggest, strongest
Yes.
guy you know could not hold and
But
fire.
he
Wait,
chewed
the-
tobacco, which turned him into a sexual
I'm a
tyrannosaurus.
sexual tyrant. The rest of you are a bunch of slack-jawed faggots.
Even Django could not carry that gun. If he pulled it out of his coffin, he
Oh
was
my
carrying
God! A
behind it.
Django reference.
Thank you. High five to
Yeah,
Jason.
Cyrus.
Man,
The Rock
Fucking
could
love that
totally
movie.
carry that gun.
does your family know you're out?
Was it Was it hard to tell your folks that you like inline skating?
I mean, yeah, I was gonna say next you guys will be rollerblading.
All right, listen. No, that is the manliest movie ever.
It really is the manliest movie
Yeah,
I've ever
wait.
seen.
Oh
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Here, Jen,
a
You
spaghetti
know what's
western.
you
What
know
do
what's
you
really a manly
and-
movie?
and the
the
village
Secrets
people
of the
were
Blue
macho
Oyster
too.
Lounge.
Wait, we're not talking about the cutting edge here. This is Django. It's a fucking
It's a guy
spaghetti
who carries
western.
around-
Hundreds of guys.
Hey,
die
hey,
on it.
Leon.
When the
a
village people sung
gallon.
Macho Man, they meant that.
Leon,
there's no irony to it.
Leon, have you ever heard the term "methinks the lady doth protest too much"?
No, he carries
I'm just-
around
I'm
a
just
Gatling
saying.
gun that he trails behind him in a coffin, and he opens it up and he's like, "Yeah, I got my best friend in here," and he opens it up and they're like, "Oh,"
And then he
shit,
says,
it's a
"You
Gatling
think this
gun."
is impressive? Wait till you see my penis,"
Oh,
which I'm going to put in your
And
asshole.
to be fair, when he does pull out his penis, it is pretty impressive. So.
Okay, so
Holy Christ, that thing's got 20 barrels!
the weapon that I would use against Joe Quesada, Rygar, the bladed like disc.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, it's like a saw
Wait,
blade.
that's not like the glaive and
It
Krull,
kind of is.
it?
It's
Oh,
like a
God.
saw blade yo-yo that he just kind of flicks out and like skewers people and then brings it back. It's awesome.
I think the weapon I would use against him is just putting him in the game The Sims so I can control him. That's the weapon in and of itself. It's like I have total puppeteer strings
Wow,
over him.
there's
and I'll
like
make him
50
do
guys
all
dressed up like Spider-Man beating the living crap out of that guy. What the
Exactly.
fuck?
I do all sorts of atrocious, inappropriate shit to him. You think the things I've said on here this week are inappropriate? You haven't seen nothing yet. But you know what? It's time to move on to our next guest.
all right.
Damn it.
So let's move on and kick Bo the hell out of
Yeah,
here.
you.
Bye, Bo.
Arrivederci, cocksucker.
Hey, it'll be even
Trying to
more
miss me.
fun next time after another 3 shots or so have passed.
My next comment will be after I said it.
Hey, we're back with 2 more guests, and isn't this awesome? We're having a great time. I'm having a great time. Maybe I'm just drunk, but I'm having a great
No,
time.
it's good times.
Yes.
We're talking about video games. Fine.
We are talking about video games.
Now, what can be more fun than being drunk and talking about video games?
Really, being drunk and talking about anything is pretty
Comics?
cool.
Okay, yeah, okay, true. Sex.
Yeah,
That would-
Greg's
that would be
going,
better.
having sex? Like, really? What's that like? You're a man of the world, Squire. I mean, you've been around a bit. You've been with the lady. We've got 2 more guests in here with
Hey,
us right
you
now.
know what? I have a video game question that I want to ask.
Really? Did you
to,
put it
to
on the
my
forums?
guets if they know, but
Did you put it?
Well,
Did you
who-
put it on the
who-
forums?
Who
Let's
are
in-
these guests?
Let's introduce the guests before you
All
ask
right,
a
fine.
question. Obviously, I thought I had drank more than you, but I was wrong. We've got right now Clint Young and Paul Adam from BioWare, who is
Hey.
one of the big guys.
I know. But,
You know,
we're moving on to the some of the big fish.
Yeah.
Not that Lance wasn't a big fish.
No, Lance answered a lot of
But
it.
these guys are working for BioWare.
BioWare,
And-
fuck yeah.
And Clint worked at LucasArts.
See, now we're really I'm losing my mind here. Y'all have got some stuff I want to know about, and most of my questions you'll probably just be like, "Yeah, I can't really."
And
tell
I got some total fanboy geekiness to throw out at Clint that I did earlier, and I'm going to do it again.
He's the one guy here who likes the prequels, so we'll let him go. with that,
That's true.
So.
It
He
wasn't
is
that.
the Star Wars.
He's
prequel
not
guy.
the only guy.
Okay, well, the one guy is the crew that like the prequels. We all still I have forgiven. I've made peace with the prequels in the sense that I can watch the originals again now without being upset. But it took me a little while.
Let's not get into that.
I
Let's-
don't hate the prequels in as much as I don't have to watch them.
Yeah.
Let-
Okay. Fair enough.
Can we get to our guest now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh,
we get-
yes, by all means.
Say hi, guys. Let's end.
Yeah,
First, we've got
Hello.
Clint.
Hey guys,
Hey, and
And
Paul.
then Paul.
what's up?
All right, now you guys both work at BioWare. How did you, individually, how did you come to work at BioWare? And what were you doing before, and what led you to BioWare?
You want to? I'll go first.
Okay, Clint, you go first.
So yeah, I got into the industry back in '93 and got a job at LucasArts. Always been a Star Wars fan. Always loved the genre. Wanted to do comic books, ironically enough, and film. Wanted to be a film director. And at the time, 3D was just coming into its own. Jurassic Park had just came out, so some of the colleges were offering 3D classes. Took those, got into the industry, worked on a few games. think it was like 14 or something like that before actually coming back to Austin to work at BioWare. Worked at a few companies, and ironically enough, it was very cyclical. It just, hey, we're doing a Star Wars game. We know that you're a big fan. We know that you've done a lot of Star Wars stuff. Why don't you come see what we're working on? So it was.
Wow. It's funny how back in the day you could kind of fall into things.
Yeah.
And it's just like there's been this progression of everybody like now wanting to be in it, so it's become such a glamorous profession.
Well, you
it's
didn't
not as
even
easy.
you didn't even play games, and you got a game job. So you know,
Yeah, no. I was a comic book artist just looking for some extra work because it was hard to get comic book work.
Sure.
And so, this game, I was doing educational games on the side, and then a video game job opened up, and I just fell into
it wasn't glamorous back then.
it. Not for me at all.
Yeah.
So, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just. Did you have to develop a portfolio and shop that around to get a job, or did you pick up an internship and from there move on to first getting into video games?
Well, I mean, the school required you to actually have a portfolio upon graduation. It was an art school in Dallas, which remained nameless because I'm kind of embarrassed that I even went there. But what it was, the people from Lucas came there. A lot of the classmates and myself, decided, hey, let's go show our stuff. Let's show our portfolios. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, and this may sound a little sappy, my mother actually stuck, I believe it was one of my space drawings from when I was 12, into my portfolio. And as Lucas the Lucas people were thumbing through it, they actually came across that one, pulled it out. It was completely floored, embarrassed. Didn't want him to see it, and that was what got me the gig.
You have your mom to thank for getting you.
That's
awesome.
She was looking out for it. She actually stuck it in there as a good luck charm, and they found it. And then 2 or 3, maybe it was a couple of months down the road. I don't remember. My boss was telling me, it was like, yeah, well, anybody that was that passionate about the movie. We actually had to hire. So.
I got to tell you, because I had drawings when I was a kid of TIE fighters attacking a giant boob. And
I was going to ask why you still have a shitty job.
That
but
never
now
got
we know.
me a job.
In the background, was there a sun with a smiley face on it?
Yeah, they. There
were two sons.
He was the Paul Ross of science fiction kids pictures
Bob
with
Ross.
giant boobs, or Bob Ross.
Yeah, if
sorry,
you're going to insult him, you got to get the
I got to
names
get it
correct.
right. You're
with
right.
with
I'm sorry.
portfolios, they always tell you to try and put stuff in your portfolio that if you're doing a face-to-face, you have something that you can really have a good conversation about. So, something like your mom putting in your 12-year-old picture, or if you're not doing a face-to-face, have something that really stands out from the rest of your stuff or the rest of anyone else's stuff.
Sure.
Yeah, no, having great anecdotes are really good to have on interviews.
Because then they remember you.
Well, man, okay. This is off the video game subject, but I remember interviewing for a designer job at UT, and I had to face a gauntlet. So it wasn't like a one-on-one. It was like 10 people in a Kryptonian council thing against me.
You were standing in the double hula hoops?
Yeah, where they all fired questions at me, just trying to test my knowledge of Photoshop and InDesign and all this back and forth. And they're like, well, we work with a lot of students who are troubled. What can you bring?
Troubled?
Yeah. And they were like, we have students who have substance abuse problems. What can you bring to this? And I was like, well, my dad was an alcoholic for several years. I was just like trying to laugh it off, and I got nothing. So I was like, no, but seriously, it was a serious problem with my dad, and it nearly tore the family apart, but it came together, so I could understand what these kids are going through. Wow. And then the guy who asked the question felt bad that he even asked the question.
Nice.
So I was like, I had to totally spin it around on him.
Manipulative points. Nice.
So you got spared the Phantom Zone.
Yes.
Okay.
But I didn't get the job, though.
So Paul, how did you get your start?
Well, I went to school for computer science because my parents didn't think I could make a living as an artist, and
Smart
People can't.
I wanted to work in games. I thought, hey, I can become a game programmer, but I wound up getting a job at IBM. But here in Austin, where there are a lot of game companies.
Speaking of which, just to sidetrack you for a second, how many game companies are in Austin? Would you guys say? Because I know at times it's been like
A lot.
nearly about 20 at
It's
some
like
times.
14 or 15.
I mean,
Yeah,
it fluctuates back and
there's
forth.
about 15.
About 15.
And at
Okay.
any given time, like they switch over, somebody else buys one, and like one of the
Nintendo
majors.
also even has a branch down here.
Well, they have. They bought a company here that
no,
I'm forgetting the name of it right now, but they're the ones.
Metroids.
They're the ones who
Retro-
did the Metroid
Retro-
games.
Retro
yeah.
Studios, yeah.
Yeah,
Retro.
yeah.
Okay.
Retro
Oh,
Studios.
Retro.
Okay.
Okay,
yeah.
that's that. I used to work for the guy who owns Retro back when I was doing games. Anyway, back to Paul's story.
Sorry,
Okay.
Paul.
So, so I worked for IBM for a little while, and then Scanner Darkly came up here in town.
You're
And-
another one of those.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yet again.
Yes,
Um,
because they hired almost everybody from the Austin Sketch Group.
You know what?
Yeah.
And I'd like to complain about that because I was interning with Jason Archer and Paul Beck, who I think ended up taking over the art direction department, and I quit like 2 weeks before they ended up getting the contract for Scanner Darkly because all they would have me do was pick up their mail, and I was like, damn it.
So
screw
whose
it.
whose
I
fault
quit,
was that?
and then all of a sudden, it's mine.
This would be one of
It
those
just
moments
sucks.
when Nelson Muntz would walk in, would walk by the window and go,
It just sucked. And yeah, I'm sorry. Also,
we interrupted you again, Paul.
"Yes,
Sorry.
please,
That's
Paul,
okay.
continue."
And we're so
that's-
used
that's
to
gonna
interrupting
happen.
each other. And
Yeah,
we're trying to
we
get over
shouldn't do
that
that to the guests.
Yeah.
Try telling us about Green Lantern.
Bad host, bad host. Anyway,
That's okay. So I spent some time working on Scanner Darkly, and then after that, I kind of broke my art cherry working on that, and then worked at a handheld company, and then eventually moved on to Bioware.
Handheld like a Nintendo.
Cell phone games.
Cell
cell
phone
phone
games. Okay.
games.
all right,
Wow.
cool.
Well, that's where a lot of the money's at.
Yes,
Seriously.
it really is.
So they say.
They're
weird
so
because I have games
expensive.
on my cell phone and I only play the demo.
Dude, if
when
you
they
have-
say if you want to keep playing this, pay $3.95, and I'm like, no, I'll just log out and re-bowl another set.
No, if you've ever been at the airport and they delay your plane by an hour and all you have on you, like for interactive media, is your cell phone, you're going to pay that $7 or whatever for Spider-Man web of crap.
Pocket God.
They're definitely airport and while you're on the pooper.
Yeah, there you
Pocket,
go. There you go.
Pocket God.
Okay, so now
Allison,
iPhone.
Allison, what you got to
Pocket God for the iPhone. Super fun.
Pocket God?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a little game, and you control a little island with little people that you can put on it.
Oh,
All
so
all
you're
black and white.
you're Jacob from Lost.
Yes.
Okay.
And you electrocute them with lightning bolts and
love Pocket
make them
Oh wow!
sharp.
awesome.
Okay, now you caught my attention.
Yeah, so fun.
Right on. Okay, now BioWare. Wait, can you guys talk about what you're working on at BioWare? Maybe
Yeah,
you can't.
BioWare is like
I-
video
I-
game-
Who feels safer talking about this?
BioWare is
You or
one
me?
of
All right, well, I want
You
to.
guys can talk about
I
it.
BioWare's one of the, like,
I want
royalty.
you guys to say anything you can't because then you'll be calling us.
I
want to
to. I want to just say what it is because I'm excited about having y'all here because
Can
of what
we
it is,
even
what
say
y'all are
that?
working on.
We can say what we're working on.
Okay.
We are currently working on the MMO for the KOTOR franchise, which is Knights of the Old Republic. For anybody out there who has played BioWare games,
Awesome.
which is
in the past.
fucking huge.
Yeah.
By the way, if you don't know anything about games, this is
Yeah,
epic.
no, honestly, I had very little interest in Galaxies, but when I heard about this, I went, "Oh yeah, now that I would
Well, I
like
mean,
to check out."
what's not to like? I mean, we're talking about 3,000 years before the prequels.
Yeah.
It is open Bible for for Star Wars fans, and to be able to come to work and make that stuff up on a daily basis is just
So-
it's mind-blowingly fun.
Can we ask you how is this going to work? Is it going to be different places on different planets, or is it going to be one landscape?
I can say that there will be different planets.
Okay.
Of course, if you go to the website, you can obviously see screenshots from the game and read about the game itself. There are different planets. There are different races. There are different characters.
Is it going to be like a Yoda type?
I don't. I honestly don't know. That's actually a question that I do not know. Was there a Yoda type in KOTOR? I would say that if you
no.
played KOTOR and if there was a Yoda-esque character of that alien species, then I'm sure that they will find their
So
way.
lots of
Have you
Jawas and
seen
Wookiees walking
Frank,
around?
Have you seen Frank Oz around the office? Is the main
Have I
question
seen
there.
Frank Oz around the office? No.
I'm glad to hear you be able to say that much because I know if you go to the website, you can see a lot of Clint's art on the conceptual stuff. And
Well, you can see both Paul and I.
both you guys.
Yeah,
are
both,
you,
both
'cause
Paul and
Paul,
I
what
have
are you
some
doing for BioWare? I know Clint does conceptual art.
Like all the concept artists at BioWare kind of do a little bit of everything, but we specialize
Yeah.
in an area. So like every once in a while I'll do like an environment or something like that, but I specialize in the wearables or the garments, the costumes
okay.
that you wear.
Oh,
so,
Yeah.
awesome.
so if you're like, playing whatever class, you're wearing something that either I or a couple other people at the studio that have designed.
So what kind of research went into this? I mean, did you guys? Because there's within the last couple of years, there's been a lot of Old Republic stuff, like in the comic books and books. It's been burgeoning, especially since BioWare did Knights of the Old Republic. How much of that are you guys implementing into the game? As far as what comes from the comics, what comes from the novelizations and stuff like that.
You want to take this one?
Sure. We try to stay as faithful as we can to what's out there, but like Clint said, it's based in it's based 3,000 years before the Battle of Yavin, BBY.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because that's like the
What's a
the birth of
Yavin?
Christ mark of like Battle of Yavin is like the
That's
that's
New
like
Hope.
the year zero basically.
Yeah. So we're pretty distant from that. So we have a lot of license to do new things, but we also try to hit notes that everyone knows and loves. So
my main thing to you would be to say, you know how have you ever played any of the Elder Scrolls games, for instance, where there's tons of books hidden around that really you don't have to read, but they're there if you want to.
Yeah.
Lots of text that's totally optional if you really love the universe that much.
Very tedious.
Y'all should totally do that and throw in somewhere in there where there's something written by someone going, I'm tired of all these people thinking they can use the Force. We need to write this thing in that says only certain people have midichlorians and just teach that as gospel from now on.
Well, could you just
that
say
would make me feel
midichlorians
better?
don't exist? Because that's what ruined the whole thing.
Well, no, if everybody has them, that's fine. But the problem in the prequels with them saying, no, only certain people have them.
I'm within
And
stabbing
that's
distance
where I
of
got
Cyrus,
upset.
and he just derailed this entire interview.
I'm just saying, that bugged me more than anything.
That's
I
not
think
their
that's
job.
the thing. I think honestly, it was, having come from there and worked with a lot of those guys that worked on the films and having read the script, even in its early stages. The midichlorians thing, I think gets blown out of proportion. There's a lot of haters out there that are like, "Oh my God, the prequels, blah blah," and not just the midichlorians thing is honestly, it really is even in the movie itself, it really is a throwaway thing because the midichlorians were supposedly a byproduct of somebody using the Force.
It's not.
In other words,
deal.
it's not necessarily. It's only a way for the Jedi to test the blood, and it's like, oh, you have X amount of midichlorians in your body, therefore this is how strong you were. It was just a means of actually explaining to the audience how powerful the Jedi felt like this child was. So I really think that people took away from it. It's like, oh, it's moving into our you don't have to explain everything. It really is a difference between the Star Trek fans and the Star Wars fans. It's like the Star Wars fans typically don't like everything explained. They like to leave a little bit to the imagination, where Star Trek fans typically it's like we want to know how warp core works, so to speak.
Well, Star Wars is more fantasy based.
That- well,
Star,
yeah,
and
yeah,
Star
yeah, I
Trek
guess
is
I-
more
exactly.
sci-fi based.
Exactly.
I could have said that a
Star
lot
Wars
easier.
is it's science fantasy and Star Trek is science fiction.
So you like the prequels?
He has to say yes.
There are aspects of the prequels that I do like, yes.
So you're saying the midichlorians not that big of a problem? Is what you're saying?
Jason, you're so fucking wrong.
See, I can see where this is going. This is
No,
actually leading up to a
okay,
Jar Jar
okay,
Binks
I'm saying-
conversation.
Let me tell you ahead of time. Let me tell you, he loves the prequels.
I'm saying-
and we give him endless shit about it.
I'm saying
so
maybe
you're in
he-
friendly territory if he's talking to you.
He's just trying to trap you into his.
he's
own-
not.
I'm not trying to trap.
He's
I'm just
trying to do
saying,
the opposite.
Clint, maybe I need to sit next to you, and maybe I don't know. Maybe we should go to prom together. I don't know.
I honestly enjoy the prequels, but even more importantly, I actually go a step further and say that I enjoy the Clone Wars television series more than I enjoy the
Wow,
prequels.
those are. See, you
Are you
lost
talking about
Jason.
the original, the current,
I
the
like
movie?
them. I like
Which
them
one?
both, but I have to say this: like, I went and saw the film. I took my daughter to see the 3D film when it came out. I guess it was the first 3 episodes of the Clone Wars
okay.
Cartoon Network
They
series.
broke it up in it. Okay.
And then when it started airing in the fall, I started watching it and really fell in love with it. I like everything about it.
No. So you saw the Clone Wars movie and you liked it?
I walked out of the 3D animated movie and I was like, okay, there were things that I took away from it that I enjoyed. You know, it wasn't all that great. It wasn't until they actually hit the third or fourth, I guess, episode on television that I was like, wow, this is really good.
To be fair, a lot of people I know hated the movie. Were going, I swear to you, it gets a lot better.
Yeah,
it really does.
I've heard almost nothing but positive stuff about the series since they hit, like you said, since they hit the fourth episode, and kind of, you know, the reins are a little bit more off. Yeah. And I mean,
as a Joss Whedon fan, I can't say anything because I had to sit through the fifth episode till Dollhouse got good.
And that, you know what? Interesting enough, it's like I think you hit it right on the head. I think what the prequels were missing for me, in particular, talking to Joss Whedon is what made Serenity so great. It was the Han Solo show. And the thing that the prequels were missing to me was the Harrison Ford.
I think
Han
everybody
Solo,
agrees on
take
that.
you by the hand, take you for a ride, and say, "Let's go on an adventure."
You nailed
and that's
that.
what it was missing.
So back to the gaming. Tell us what you guys are excited about the Old Republic game.
What's happening new that you can talk about? With this, that's really awesome.
Because you have a lot of positive things to say about it.
I'll answer what I think is great about it, and then I'll let Paul, because we could totally have different opinions on why we think the game is great, other than it's our job. I think that unlike most MMOs, we're really injecting story into it, and depending upon what character, what class you play, you're going to have an entire game's worth of dialogue, of choices, much like Mass Effect. All the things that you come to expect from a BioWare game, you will have in every character class that you play in this game. We're talking thousands upon thousands of lines of dialogue that has been written by writers that write this stuff every single day. We're talking 15-plus writers.
And not just like programmers who say, well, I can write it.
No.
Actual,
this is witty,
honest-to-God writers.
film-worthy dialogue that we're talking about here.
Okay.
For the first time, I can honestly say this. Like, people talk about, well, we're doing a podcast on games tonight. Really, what we're talking about now is we've actually moved out of what I typically call games, and what we're providing people now, especially with this MMO in particular, is a playable cinematic movie experience.
Okay, I like everything you just said, because I'm from based on that, I'm ready to go out and buy this, because I've always held to the fact that, like, I know from my experience working on games and playing games, was that story. People always say like the story of a game could be as powerful as a movie, and I'm like, bullshit, because it always takes a backseat to the gameplay. But it sounds like this is going to try to equal it.
A lot of times they would get a lot of game companies would say, okay, we're going to have this story, but it's going to be written by the same guy who's writing the code. We're not going to hire a writer.
No.
And that's changing a lot lately, and it really seems like that Old Republic is embracing that and saying, listen, we're going to have some people who are actually writers. That's what they do, and they're going to add the story to this tale.
These guys are top of their game. I mean, the dialogue is great, and it stands to reason. It's like you're working on the game, you become bored. The mundaneness of like working on the same thing every day, and it's like I haven't gotten to that. I haven't reached that point yet with this game.
Because you guys go in and walk into work every day, and you're excited about what you're working on.
Because it's interesting to read what they're handing you to work with.
It's interesting to read what they're handing me. It's interesting to play. As gamers, we're required to play the game, to report bugs, obviously. But it's like when you're sitting there reading the dialogue and you're getting into your character and you're upset when, this happens or this happens, or you're happy when this happens. It's like you find yourself going like, man, can I just have one more hour to play before I get back to work or whatever? I mean, there is situations like that happen day to day, working at BioWare on this game. It is really, really an outstanding project, and I think it's going to turn the MMO market on its ear.
So Paul, what about you?
It's really exciting to work on this game, because all through my childhood I was a huge Star Wars fan, and to come into this every day, and this is, like I said before, we have a lot of freedom, and we get, we have to hit all these notes that everyone loves about Star Wars, and so I come in, like, I get my task for the day, and it's to reinvent what the bounty hunter looks like, or that kind of stuff. And
see, my dick just got hard. So even with the prequels and not liking them, I went, oh god, yes.
Yeah, and so it's a really fun job to have. The double-edged sword on that is that, like, everyone's going to see what I did to reinvent the bounty hunter, and then like, oh my
and hopefully they
ruined
won't
it,
go.
no,
You
but-
shall be judged.
You turned
thusly.
Boba Fett into Jar Jar Binks. What were you thinking? Yeah,
No, that won't
that's not
happen.
what you
But
want. Okay.
But it's really
Misa,
kinda
Misa
surreal to-
says you gonna die.
Yeah, I'm wondering,
You
like,
guys
okay, in the
reducing
Star
the
Wars Old
racism in
Republic, has all the racism been taken out of it?
No,
Because
we've actually injected a little more. No, I do.
so now you have a spick alien as well. Is that what's going on?
In the Old
I mean,
Republic,
we already had the greedy Jew, and we had
well,
the Sambo.
in the Old
and
Republic-
we had the Japs from the all in the first prequel.
yeah, in the Old Republic, the Jedi's all wear white hoods.
You can quest.
So you guys are
for
actually. I
White
mean,
Hood.
I've talked to a lot of game developers who are well, you know. It's a job, whatever. You guys actually genuinely seem passionate.
I know.
about
Yeah.
what you're
Because when I worked in the
Yeah.
industry, I was miserable.
Yeah, and I mean,
Which would
a lot
explain
of my-
why he's here now.
a lot of my friends who have worked in the game industry don't even like games anymore because it just broke them of it. But you guys are genuinely excited about this product, and that's really that's really cool.
Yeah, a lot of people that work at our studio are very passionate about Star Wars and love it a lot. And like, every once in a while we'll have to go search out for, reference or whatever. And there's a version of Wikipedia for Star Wars.
Oh yeah,
called
there's probably
Wikipedia.
more than one, isn't there?
Probably.
I was gonna
Wikipedia
say.
is the big one.
But it's fun to be part of the universe now because as we release content on our website, Wikipedia kind of snatches a lot of that stuff up,
Nice.
and so like I'll go searching. What does that blaster look like? And I'll see my blaster that I
Sure.
concepted.
It's
so
a
like,
nice-
oh my gosh,
It's a
So-
nice base of information.
I-
what I
what-
want to
no,
ask,
no,
what I
leading
want to
up-
ask. Sorry, go
I
ahead.
would just say, like, leading up to them going here, it's funny because I know these guys outside of what they do for games. Like Paul, I know is a guy from the Austin Sketch Group. Who
Oh,
does
okay.
does amazing artwork. I had no idea he worked in games.
Yes.
And then Clint, we're in a group that's all for children's illustrators, and Allison's dropped
Oh
out a
my
few
god,
times.
it's beautiful.
And
But
out of everybody, Clint does this amazing artwork. I mean, it
Incredible.
just he wins awards, he blows you away, he makes you sick. And just to give you
Can you guys-
Your
I
work
just love it.
makes me sick.
I mean, and on top of that, I mean, look at them. Aren't these like the two most handsome motherfuckers we've ever had?
I
in
thought
this?
they were in a band when
I
they
know.
showed up. I was like, "Are you with Greg?"
Wait.
We're actually going.
Let's not go too far.
You're right, Greg. You're not that good
But,
looking.
but,
so-
before we go further, I
Wow,
would like
Leon, get out of their crotch.
I would like to give you. I'd like to give you guys a chance. I would like to give you guys a chance to like pimp out like your portfolios, your websites online.
Yeah.
Just tell us where people can see your artwork.
This is Clint. You can go to my site to check out some of the artwork, but if you're going there to look at Star Wars stuff, you're gonna be a little disappointed
Hey,
just
man,
simply because.
I think what they see, they're not going to be disappointed.
Okay,
with.
Because everybody loves hentai.
Yeah, right.
I like it.
Oh, Skullgirls and Demons. It's cgyoung.com. And you'll see a little link at the bottom because I am updating the website right now currently. But there is a link to my blog spot, and it has a lot of my children's illustrations on there. I'm currently working on a book outside of the Star Wars stuff that I'm doing on, and it's a children's book.
It's absolutely
it's
phenomenal.
amazing.
It's beautiful, beautiful work, and I not to follow in Leon's footsteps, but I actually had one of your artwork things as my wallpaper on my desktop for a while because I just thought it was so great.
I had no
love
idea
it.
he was a fanboy. No wonder
That's
he was
so
being
nice.
so
Thank you,
quiet.
guys.
back
I mean,
here.
that-
Sorry, yeah, I was like, I'm just
No,
gonna
it's a-
bide my
that-
time till I can get my autograph.
Well, it really makes you feel good because, it's like I hesitate to tell anybody. It's like, well, yeah, okay, I go to work and I design lightsabers and blasters.
But
and,
I hate that. What
and
I
then
really want to do.
I go home and I draw talking pigs. So it's
Well, he's the second guy we've had on in a row, like anthropomorphized animals here. Is like that's his thing. We had a John Lucas on, the comic book artist,
Right.
on the .5, who's like, honestly, I care less about superheroes and all these big,
Yeah, it's all about the
well-known
furries.
characters. I just want to draw talking
it really
animals.
is. It's all about the furries.
What
It's
is
like,
with you guys?
put the laser swords away. It's
Well,
like,
it's like no
time
matter
to put on the fox
what
outfit.
you do as your day job, you end up like not liking it. Well, except for these guys.
Oh
They
no!
love
too-
their jobs.
Well, no. I'll be the first to go home and my 5-year-old will pick up the Wii remote and we'll play Clone Wars together and hack each other apart before bedtime. So it's like I get in a lot of my Star Wars play too.
Yeah.
You don't go, I'm sick of Star Wars.
If I can totally interject, and back out on the patio, I totally geeked out on Clint earlier. And I don't even know if you know this, Leon. Clint has worked on some of the best fucking games in the history of video games, period. And I know that sounds like hyperbole, but it's totally true.
There's going to be a line to suck your cock after this.
Yeah, seriously. Full Throttle.
No way. My favorite video game of all time.
Yes.
You worked on Full Throttle?
Clint worked on Full Throttle.
Some of Tim's games I worked on. I worked with Tim Schafer on a few of his games.
Holy
at my
shit.
time at
What are you
one of
doing
my favorite
slumming at the
games.
Leog?
One of my favorite games, Grim Fandango. One of my
Oh
top
my
favorite
God! You
games
worked on
ever.
Grim Fandango?
I did.
Ever.
Yeah.
He also worked on
Jesus.
Dark
I never knew
Forces.
that.
I have used illicitly themes from Grim Fandango and Leon podcast.
Grim Fandango,
Yeah.
for those of you that haven't played it,
I
it's one of the
had
greatest-
no idea.
It's one of the greatest
Man.
fucking
Wow.
games ever.
It's funny because at the time when I was really into video games, those are the 3 games I played.
I knew you were a huge Full Throttle.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, especially
He
Full
mentioned
Throttle.
that, and I was
If
like,
we
holy
can
shit.
get off the Cocksuck Fest for a second.
Well, wait.
here.
Hey, Paul just hasn't done his
Yeah.
plugs.
Well, did we? Have we not? We're in a double suck. Okay.
Paul, yes.
Paul, you want to plug?
I'm not as cool, but
No, you I did the strawberry shortcake game.
I did Notorious B.I.G. Getting Paid.
Oh, is that? I didn't even know
on the
that.
cell phone.
There we go.
Come on.
Yeah,
I did a little work on
Greg played that.
5:46 in the morning. Yeah.
I also worked a little bit on G Unit.
Man.
Wow.
Wow.
I was right. They are
Stunting.
kind of rock
Yeah.
stars.
You know,
they
I
are.
took a look at you and I knew you were from the street.
Hell yeah.
The Screet. Okay, well, I want to go to real quick. Oh, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I
Go,
do have a website.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
give your
yeah, website, please.
Sorry.
Uh,
I've had like 8 beers. I don't even know what I'm doing anymore.
That's fine. It's untameduniverse.net/blog.
Okay.
And,
Okay.
You
So
can
that-
you can see what I've been working
Your
on.
lots of your-
portfolio?
Yeah.
Lots of your art on there? or-
Yeah, I did a comic cover recently for a comic called Strongman, which is out by SLG right
Okay.
now.
No, I'm
Is
familiar
that
with
slave
that.
labor graphics?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
right
and
on. And now they've gone to SLG, like KFC.
I don't know.
Yeah, they were
Okay.
thinking Kentucky Fried Chicken when they did it. That's
And
what they
we'll
did.
end up putting all these links on our page when we. Post
Yes, all these links will be up.
Yeah.
I listened to all this again.
Yeah, and
Go
league
back.
league members, show your love to our guests. Check them out. Post some comments.
You won't be sorry.
Show them the love.
Yeah.
Well, before we go off, I'm going to go again to a question from a guest, or not from a guest, from one of our fans, to ask why you guys are here. Zeke Slider asks, does anyone in the league foresee the return of the adventure game genre, or is it doomed to forever be overshadowed by the platformers, fighting, and shooting genres of games?
That's funny because the adventure games are what I tend to play.
It seems
Yeah.
to me like they're making
I mean, I play those
more
and
money.
first-person shooters.
I mean, people don't take into account how much money World of Warcraft makes every single day.
That's
just
a little bit of a
sitting
different
there.
animal, but,
it's the adventure game platform. I mean, that's what it is.
Well, I don't know, dude.
Kinda.
That's more of a
I don't know if it goes with
MMO.
adventure.
I don't, what are those acronyms that go in there?
So, what are you thinking is defined as the
I
adventure
don't
game?
think
then?
that
Baldur's Gate.
the games that we grew up on, the Scum games, and especially, I was having conversation earlier, the old Sierra games, the Heroes
King's
Quest,
Quest
yeah,
and
King's
Police
Quest,
Quest.
those types
I remember
of
that
games.
question. It was asking for the games like
Yeah.
Myst.
It's a different game.
Oh, it is?
Different
I
question.
don't-
There were several.
Oh, okay, never mind.
I don't know if those will make a comeback. Do I think that those types of games, or that quality of gameplay, that feeling that you got in playing those games, will make a comeback? Yes. And the reason being is simply because of the fact that we, as a generation who grew up playing those games, are now making games.
True.
So there comes a time where it's like, okay, enough with the axes in the face and the big the big guys in the Quake armor going around slaughtering each other. There comes a time where it's like you want that feeling again that you had when you played King's Quest or the first time you booted up Prince of Persia.
There was a starry-eyed innocence to playing the early King's Quest games and the Heroes Quest / Quest for Glory games, and yeah, I mean they were so. There was a. God, I'm going to sound like a total tree hugger, but there was such a piece to playing them where they were very relaxing. It was.
I don't know if it was the music
Dirty
or what,
hippie.
but there really was. I mean,
Yes.
it was very peaceful.
That
and
idea,
very,
the point and click stuff. All right, there were 2 beginnings to the adventure game. There was Infocom, and there was
Sure.
Scott Adams. And they both had their own evolution in different directions. Scott Adams was where King's Quest and stuff like that ended up happening. And the Infocom game actually thing just kind of burned out because it honestly, I kind of felt like it was too hard for most people. I was reading, I was like, going, I thought that was the fun of it. It was literary, like being inside a book. And the Scott Adams was all like, move your cursor around on the screen till something lights up. And I was like, okay.
Well, does Mario not count as an adventure game?
No. Well, no. I mean, not in the sense that we're talking about. I mean, we're talking about like text parser interface, like the Scum interface,
like Task Times and Tone Sound kind of thing.
Kind of. Yeah,
But all the RPGs evolved out of both of those, really. Like Baldur's Gate, like Leon was saying.
Well, I mean, we're talking about like King's Quest, Space Quest, Quest for Glory, Leisure Suit Larry, and all of the old, like Clint said, all the old Scum games like Day of the Tentacle.
I love that.
Let's be honest. Leisure Suit Larry was always better in concept than it was in actual game.
Well, it wasn't a very good game, no. But it was like one of those things, it was so titillating. You're like, oh my god, it's a game with boobies. And it was there weren't a lot of those, really.
And even the Gabriel Knight games.
Oh, those were good. I like those.
And they're still making games kind of like that, but they're mostly independent producers, and you can find the games on the shelf of your local Best Buy for like $5.
Yeah, up
or
until
like that.
about maybe the first year of PS2, there were still a lot of those coming out. What was the big series where it was like a guy, kind of. But there was a whole series. The last one,
I don't want any part of that ever again.
The last big one was the one. There was like 4 of them, where it was the guy going around Europe looking for like pieces to like
Broken Sword.
Yeah, Broken Sword.
Yeah.
Looking for pieces
That
to like
was-
a.
that's
It was
kinda
like it was
that.
kind of like an
Pretty
early.
sure that was Carmen San Diego.
No.
Isn't there episodic Sam and Max going on right now?
Is there a new
Max
one?
is still going strong, and that is one of the classic LucasArts games, and it's hilarious.
That's one of the best ones ever.
And Curse of Monkey Island.
Well, come on, you're going
Secret
way
Monkey
back
Island
now,
and all that.
Well, any of that fit into that genre. But I think that a lot of these games then, if I have a better grasp of what you guys are talking about as far as adventure game, these are popping up a lot more online then.
Well,
and people can play them for free just as like little flash type games.
I think that, and you're absolutely right, but there is a future, I think, in now that technology's gotten where it could do it, and combining something like the Tomb Raider type engine or Undeclared and mixing it with smarter puzzles and more story.
Well, I think
Uncharted, I'm sorry. Not Undeclared, I'm sorry.
I played the latest, what was it? The latest Rayman game.
Yes.
The Raging Rabbits,
Okay.
I believe is what it's called the other night. And interesting enough, it's like, that's a throwback to that old art that I like so much about those old Scum games. It's not quite, it's cartoony, but not quite. It has that sort of fantasy element that that immediately takes you back to those times where you plugged in those games for the first time when you played those Hero Quest games, all those old Scum games. And I think that it's all got to make a comeback. It's all cyclical. I mean, it will come back, and we will enjoy playing them again. And I, for one, know that if there ever comes a time where I step out and I say, okay, I'm going to go do my own thing now. I'm going to go open my own company. Those are exactly the kind of games that I'm going to make.
Hell yeah!
And I know that those are the kind of games that in terms of story. Those are the kind of games that BioWare likes to make.
Well, it was weird because there was that weird upsurgence in cel-shaded games that when I heard about it, I went, what? And then I played them and went, oh my god, this is great.
Yeah, I was going to say,
and it felt like that's what those were leading to, like an upsurgence.
I don't
of
play a
those.
lot of games, but that game 13. That was the game. Like, I played the demo, and I was like, fuck, I want to play this whole game.
David Duchovny did some of the voices.
Yeah, he did the voice of the main character.
Yeah.
I don't remember who it is. One of the questions on here, there was a pretty sizable one, but asked, like, what's the game you like to use to relieve tension when you go, I'm fucking pissed, and I just want to, de-stress, and 13 was that game for me.
Oh, for me,
well, I
was
was just
that
like, for some
one-
reason, that just got rid of it.
GTA.
GTA.
Just gotta steal some cars and beat up some people.
Dude, no, I would set it. I'd use the cheat codes, set it on God mode, and just get on top of a building and just kill
Oh,
cops.
yeah. No,
and just
no.
like shoot down helicopters.
No,
I could not kill enough cops.
You had the game Grand Theft Auto reaches this point where the game itself was so hard, you were like, fuck it. My new game is to build up all the rocket launcher missiles I can get and carry and find the best position in the city and just time myself and see how many helicopters I can take down before they finally kill me.
Speaking of this is a question I wanted to ask before. I want to ask it to everybody here and mostly to our audience. Okay, I bought Grand Theft Auto 4.
Yes. Oh, you bought it. Okay.
San Andreas.
No,
Is that
that's
the
not
one?
4.
That's not 4? Which one is that?
3 San Andreas.
All right, fine,
3.5,
fuck it, whatever. I bought San Andreas for the PC. I'm excited. I've loaded
great
it,
game.
and I start playing it. Okay,
Yeah.
but everything goes like so super fast. Like I can't drive the cars because they move too fast. All the cars are wrecking into each other.
See, I think
like the
something's
AI
wrong
is
with
completely
your-
like screwy. And I was about to give up on it. I was just about to like uninstall it, reinstall it, and everything went fine. So then I started getting the hang of it, moving up in levels and enjoying it, and then it's gone back to doing that. Now I know this is a known problem with this game because I'm trying to research it, and I'm just want to throw it out to anybody who might know how
to
do I
help
fix
them.
this?
Yeah, no, because I play that on. I play console games. I don't really play games on my PC because in my
I only play on my
experience,
PC.
The only game I've never had any problems with on my PC ever playing it was Diablo 2.
Oh, really?
The only game I never had
This
a
is
problem
this is
with.
the only game.
Everything else is always fucked up.
I've only had a
Blizzard
problem
games
with
are really
this,
good
and I
about
played
being
one
stable.
Viking game that I love the shit out of this game, and I got like more than 3/4 of the way, and there's just a point where it had a glitch. And could not finish it because of that glitch.
That's such bullshit.
I've played that game on the console and it's played fine. So I think it's just an issue with your PC.
Well, I have a question for.
But my
our
PC is
guests.
brand new. Like I've owned this PC for a month.
You have to let Leon go on this one because he's a little upset. He's been bitching at me about this for
I
2
have,
months,
and I've been
'cause
wanting to
I
bring it
don't
up for a
have the
while.
answer for this. I'm like,
But somebody
I don't know,
out there
dude.
listening might.
Something's fucked up because that sucks. Because that's a great game and you should be able to play that.
And when it plays well, I love it.
Yeah.
It's like the best game I've ever played.
Yeah, it's Grand Theft Auto is awesome, and Grand Theft Auto 4, which I know you don't have the access to play right now, is even better. But Jason, go ahead.
Well, I have a question for our guests before they take off. What are your favorite games ever, if you were to pick one? And what are you guys playing right now?
Oh, good questions.
Start with what you're playing right now.
Go ahead.
We were talking earlier about like games we like to play when we're just angry and we need to blow off some steam. And right now I'm playing Call of Duty 4.
Nice.
Yeah.
Not the World at War one.
No, the one
Just regular
previous.
one?
And it's not really because I'm good at it and I kill people and I get like a charge out of that. It's more because like I suck at it and I get angry at other people playing the game, so then I'm not angry at anything else but the other people in the game.
Is that
So-
one online only?
No. There's a single player version which is awesome. It's got an awesome
Call-
story to it.
Oh,
Call
the
of Duty-
Chernobyl sniper level?
Yeah.
Holy
I
hell.
haven't played 4. Everybody's telling me it's great, but I played the rest of the
it's
series,
amazing.
and there are so many series of those type of games where you're like, the most satisfying moment is when you get that perfect headshot, when you just get it, and some of them really get that right, where they even reward you with the animation, where the guy's like, "Doo," and stands there for a second and then just slumps down. You're like, I'm so awesome, and I would imagine that's part of it for me. I get that whole like, fuck yeah, I killed the shit out of that guy.
And your favorite game?
My favorite game?
All time.
There's so many.
No, the last guy I played Lance did the Barbie games.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of. I'm a big fan of a lot of games. I always go back and play like the old NES games, like Punch Out and Legend of Zelda, and
Some
I
Mario
play a
Twins.
lot of that stuff.
Blades of Steel,
That was a fun game.
the only sports game I've ever liked.
Blades of Steel and Tecmo
was it
Bowl
ice
and
skating?
RBI Baseball were so great on the NES. Then they got too complicated.
Yeah, they wanted you to like.
Then there's
Do
this Madden
plays
thing
and
that
stuff.
you
Wait,
like.
was Blades of Steel like men's
Hockey
figure
game.
skating?
It was hockey.
Hockey.
Oh, same thing.
Oh, you think so?
Blades
Let's
of Steel,
just-
it's what they're playing in Swingers when they get into the fight.
Why don't we just put you into an ice skating rink and during
Sorry,
a hockey
dude.
game
Yeah.
and see how
Black
gentle
people don't ice skate.
We'll see how gay it is then.
How many black
They do.
how many black hockey players do you know?
There's a couple.
When we're on the rink fucking you in the ass, we'll see how gay it is then.
One of the best ones is the guy from Canada, LaFleur and Jim Rome.
LaFleur broke someone's jaw.
He did. He fucked him up.
that
How did
guy's
this go to sports
scary.
all of a sudden? We're talking about sports
Damn
games.
it, you
That's
guys!
different.
We're trying to steer away from sports
Greg!
and music.
Cut it out!
Hey,
Every time Greg
I
picks
don't
up a
even
mic.
play sports game. I don't play Madden. I don't play NBA Live.
I know, but you use this as a segue, and I resent that.
Now, Clint, what are you playing
Yeah,
now?
what you got?
Let's see. Current. You see,
It doesn't have to be a cool game.
I don't honestly play a whole lot. When I'm wanting to blow off steam, I've really gotten into Guitar Hero,
Hell yeah!
So I play a lot of Guitar Hero,
but not Rock Band.
No, not Rock Band. Well, I'm a guitar player, so it's like Guitar Hero with the guitar in the title.
Yeah.
Rock Band sounds way too presumptuous. It's like to me, it's like okay,
Guitar Hero doesn't.
Well, I guess it's true. But you know what? Says the guy with the washburn. Yeah. So Guitar Hero Metallica, obviously. Yes. I'm waiting for Guitar Hero Zeppelin. Okay. I can't wait.
You're not waiting for Rock Band Beatles?
Well, no, I like that too. I really, if I owned both consoles, I honestly would. All-time favorite game. There's so many. I would have to go back, and I was talking about this to somebody earlier tonight. Was probably Bailey's. My second game console that I owned was a Bailey's, and I had Wizards of War and Artillery Duel. And a couple of other ones, but
I forgot about Wizards of War.
Wizards of War.
Oh my god, I loved that.
WOR.
That's except before that.
That was better than Robotron.
That Wizards of War is probably my all-time favorite.
You've been drinking a lot, and I'm gonna forgive it this time.
No, I'm with Glenn on this one. Wizard of War was rock, man. That was. Yeah. You just don't know because you weren't cool enough. You're one of those like I only play the popular games.
Yeah,
it's getting tense
I wasn't
in here.
cool because I didn't play Wizards of War.
That's true. That's true, and I can prove it on paper later when I'm more sober.
Mom, Dad, quit fighting.
Somebody out there somewhere right now, has a YouTube video that they're posting of Wizards of War. I'll have to go find it. It was actually really fun. You know what? Maybe it's one of those things that I as a child I just remember it being cooler than it was.
But even so, I laugh now because probably a grand majority of our fans are between 13 and 22. 23.
Okay, so yeah, you're not going to know that.
And they're going through this whole episode. They're going, dude, all they're talking about is shit that came out before I was born.
Well, are we talking about Wizards of War?
We were talking about Wizards of War.
Okay, so when I was a kid, I was at a Holiday Inn in South Padre Island, Texas, and there was, of course, as I sought out, anytime we were at a mall or a hotel or whatever, there was an arcade. Those days are gone, unfortunately. But in this little arcade right by the hot tub and tanning bed, I went in there and I found the arcade, and they had Wizard of War. Well, if you kicked the shit out of the Wizard of War game, it gave you free credits.
Yeah,
so
it did.
And now you know the secret of why we love that game so
yes,
much.
Other games go tilt, and Wizard of War is the battered woman of video games.
I spent an
entire... No, I did something to make him mad, so I gave him all these free games.
No, there was a whole shelter with nothing but that and Dragon's Lair and Space Ace crying in the corners there.
I spent an entire week kicking the shit out of Wizard of War so I could get free games out of it.
Man, Golden Axe was my go-to game at the arcade.
Golden Axe!
That game, man, is fucking awesome. You could ride on that giant Gila monster or whatever the hell it was with your battle axe.
Golden Axe was awesome. You could be the dwarf,
the warrior, or the chick with the big boobs.
There was an early version of Gauntlet.
I don't think she had that role otherwise.
But guys, we're gonna have to. We're like running with time, so we're gonna have to actually say goodbye to Clinton Paul. On this
Hey, thank you guys for
coming. Hey, guys,
thanks for having us. This has been great.
Before they leave, one more time, plug
Plug your website.
Plug
if you want to see any of my site, this is Clint. If you want to see any of my artwork, feel free to drop by cgyoung.com. There is a link to my blog spot as I update the website. Drop me a comment. I'd like to talk about art.
All right. And Paul Adam.
All right. I'm at untameduniverse.net/blog, and I'm doing comics on the side. I'm currently working on American Space Ninja in Space.
Is that with Paul Yount?
No, it's with Andrew Boyd and Ryan Yount. There's a mini comic.
Ryan Yount. Okay, yeah.
And there's a mini comic out right now, and we're working on a pitch to get it published.
Right on. Hey, man, those guys are like fantastic because I would tell everybody to go out and get their graphic novel Scurvy Dog. It is hilarious.
Yeah,
and
it's awesome.
Keep us posted because we will pitch the hell out of it. Seriously.
Yeah. Hey guys, thanks so much for coming on. We really appreciate it.
Thanks so much. And we'll be back in just a minute with Bo at the next level of drunkenness.
Now, please go drink our booze and.
Hey, we're back. We're back, and it's
Wait, I'm
exciting,
not
and
kidding. I'm really drunk
Bo
at
is
this point.
so wasted at this
Yeah,
point.
this might be a good episode for Bo to sit out.
I'm just saying Jason's looking a little dragged. That's all.
Wow,
Hey.
just a little. He must be drunk.
But that's
Actually, a lot, yeah, but that's mostly because you're really drunk too.
No, it's
Anyway.
mostly because we had to drop the microphone down to you on the floor where you lay in a puddle of your own vomit.
What are you
which happens to
talking?
be in sight distance of
Just because
Jason's
I can't happen to move my foot muscle and brain meat.
I'm totally ready to shoot.
You're
another
wrong.
David Hasselhoff YouTube video.
I didn't tell you.
I've got your hamburger right here, Leon.
Yeah, you've got your Asperger right there.
Oh, he brings it full circle.
No, seriously, I'm just as sober as Jason, which is
not much at all.
debilitatingly drunk.
Yeah. Okay.
I have a Golgotha of beer cans.
You do. You are building a massive collection over there.
It's like aliens are going to come down and find this artifact of. They worship this Lone Star god.
Yeah, this is the thing. Like Richard Dreyfuss would be building his mountain of mashed potatoes and look over at you and go like, this is a fucking waste of time.
This means
this guy's
something.
got it down.
Actually, that's so weird because I always felt that Jason himself was a mountain of mashed potatoes sculpted by Richard Dreyfuss.
Wow.
I don't even know how to respond to that.
I don't even know what that means.
That goes past any sort of logic I can.
What? You've never heard that like weird doo-doo-doo-doo behind him whenever
I love the fact
he
that,
comes
like,
in the door?
Bo's like the funniest guy ever, and all night he's been dropping conversation killers. like he'll deliver something, and then suddenly it's like quiet everywhere.
Bo is doing
crickets chirping.
everything he can to sabotage this
No,
podcast.
even crickets are looking at each other like, I don't
Fuck
know,
you
what
and
should we
your
do?
video games. That's
Which
all I've got
reminds
to
me
say.
Of a question from a fan. Beyond asks, what are your thoughts on comic book crossover fighting games like Marvel vs. Capcom or Mortal Kombat versus the DC Universe?
I have an answer, knowing nothing about video games. It's wrong.
Yeah, you know
wrong.
what?
Actually, no. But the only reason that I'm basing on that is because the Amalgam comics, which is the
Amalgam,
the
you mean?
Amalgam.
Amalgam.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's almost as bad as Cyrus pronouncing women as woman.
Fuck that.
Fuck you. That's regional dialect.
That ain't no regional dialect. From where? Dodo Land?
All right. I'm forced to go
because
into
you're
the
saying
story
West
about
Virginia is
how
only
I
one
asked
woman?
Leon to bring over some soda, and he brought over Coca-Cola because he is from the East Coast and practically a Yankee. He
was
doesn't
right on
understand that soda means club soda.
You weren't
why you gotta-
sensitive.
What?
Why you got to put
Yes,
me out on Front
it
Street?
does.
like
You
that?
weren't sensitive to his regional needs.
Of course I
That's what
was.
happened.
Okay, to answer
to
the
be fair,
question.
But yeah, the question is, oh God, it's wrong. And amalgam, what the fuck ever.
It's a comics box,
Yeah.
right? Is that what that comes from?
Tomato.
Okay, Marvel versus
Vidya Gammon.
Marvel versus Capcom, and all that. That's all fun and all, but then they went the extra mile and did Mortal Kombat versus DC. And I've made this joke before, but I'm sorry. It's like, okay, you've got badass kung fu Mortal Kombat guy. You know karate? Great.
Oh,
You're
wow.
gonna fight the guy who can fly and shoot lasers from his eyes?
And not only
game
that,
over.
I mean, but you can bring it down to the very base level. Oh, you know karate. You're going up against the Batman. Oh, well, he knows karate and taekwondo and
guess-
jeet kune do and I don't know, every fucking martial arts ever mastered on the
Guess
face
what?
of the planet.
You're a Shaolin monk. Well, Barry over here is the fastest man alive, and you're gonna fight him with your kung fu. That's cute. Go ahead.
I can energize my nunchaku with electricity. Oh, have you met my friend Hal over here that can create anything he wants through willpower with his magic ring?
Nunchaku?
Oh, you took a Taekwondo class.
I thought it was nunchucks.
Nunchucks, whatever.
You took a Taekwondo
What is
class.
with you people?
You're gonna fight the last son of
Chaku.
Krypton? Okay, go for it.
To be fair, even phonetic isn't spelled how it sounds, so okay.
That's true. That's very true.
I'm stealing from
I think
Steven
Grant had a
right
joke
there.
to make.
No, I didn't have a joke. I was actually gonna say, as far as yeah, sure, it's ridiculous having Shang Tsung who can turn into a dragon go against Superman who can destroy him easily. But if you just go ahead and put that to the side, these fighting games finally have our favorite comic superheroes, and you can fight as them.
Yeah, not
I think
good
there's
enough.
something kind of cool about that.
I don't. I think it is.
I haven't actually
and I
played the
apologize
game,
to actual
but-
gay people because this is not what I mean by it. But this is totally gay.
Okay.
Well, and also that presupposes that presupposes that there have never been video games that you could play like Marvel comic superheroes or DC comic superheroes.
It cheapens both of them.
Well,
Well, I mean, it was
and
just
I-
as bad as the old Spider-Man games on the fucking Sega Genesis, where you would have trouble beating up thugs. You're like, a thug might kick your ass, and you might have to start over. Bullshit! That would never happen.
Well, this is a perfect segue to lead into our next guest.
It is.
Well,
the
can I
perfect
talk
segue.
about Soul Calibur 4 real quick?
Okay, fair enough.
They introduced some Star Wars characters into a venerable series, and one of those characters was Yoda.
You seriously stopped us for that?
I did. Because, no, I want to bitch.
He has a good
I
point.
want to
This
bitch because
upset
it was
me, too.
bullshit.
Yeah.
You had all these. You had this classic fighting game. It was great, and then you introduce Yoda, where none of your hold moves works because he's fucking short, and he's got the Force.
Yeah, okay, we were starting to talk about comic books, and now I'm going to go masturbate and shower again. See you.
All right, I'm done.
All right, but I agree with you. Even though Star Wars is lame now, my memories
Whoa,
of
whoa,
Yoda.
whoa!
Have I not made this clear? My stance on Star Wars at this point,
I will fight you.
ladies and gentlemen. That means it's time to take a drink, and it's time to bring on our next guests.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Now, we got two guys who are actually also in the industry. Now, one who's actually working on the DC online game, Mr. Michael Washburn, one of my all-time best friends who I've known for about 20 years, and his best buddy, Clay Hoffman, who's working for Disney.
Oh, I didn't realize y'all were working for two different companies.
Two different companies.
Okay, all right.
But they're thick as thieves.
Okay, so the excitement here, let's start here with you, Mike. You're working on this DC massively multiplayer online role-playing.
Which everybody wants to know about.
Yeah,
and
everybody
and
wants
the thing is, it's in progress. There's a lot about it that Mike cannot talk about.
I mean, the one thing that-
he has signed an NDA. It can't be discussed.
There has been a lot of these games that have come out and died almost immediately. And come on, this is a DC universe. It's a sure thing to do for people to at least try.
This ain't
to
dying
spend the
because I
money
was
on.
at San Diego Con last year and they premiered some of it. They
No,
had
the
a console
graphics are
where you
great.
could come and play it.
Yeah, it looked great.
Well, tell us about it, Michael.
Well, I just wanted to say right now, coolest thing ever. Batcave is an instance. I'm spending the money. I'm just done. That's it. It's game on. But go ahead.
So, Mike, is there anything you can comfortably tell us about your working on it?
Right into the mic there.
Yeah. Like just tell us what you're working on the game.
Well, I mean, my job is not to like make the game. I mean, I'm a character artist, and my whole job is to make the game look good. So it has nothing to do with like the gameplay.
Okay.
All right.
Do you do the costumes?
But
of all
you're
the
modeling the
characters?
characters.
The terrain?
I am. Sorry, what?
I'm sorry. I was just saying. Do you do the terrain? Do you do the costumes? What kind of art do you do on the shady?
I'm all the characters in the game. I mean, I'm on the character team. So,
Oh, okay.
Like my job is to, I guess, to some degree, faithfully like represent the characters in the game.
Awesome. Oh,
and
very
when I have to model a character, I don't necessarily know what the character. Thank you, Hi.
You don't know which version or which artist.
Well,
to
I'm
kinda go
not
with?
necessarily familiar with every character that I like a model.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like, well, this character looks kind of stupid, or this character I think is awesome.
Yeah.
But I'll get input from other people. They're like, well, that's a dumb character or something.
So we should be expecting a lot less Blue Devil and a lot more Huntress. Is what you're saying.
Well, no. What I guess what I'm trying to say is like people. I respect the characters, like I don't.
There's a lot of the old school
I don't try
characters.
and like put what like this character.
You're trying to be faithful to
Yes.
the character, how they looked in the comics.
Yes,
and
exactly.
yet, at the same time, they kind of look dumb because of it.
I might
in the
think
game.
they look dumb, but at the same time, I'm like,
Inconsistent?
these characters have a following, and I don't want to bash that or be.
I guess that would be something that's I think is interesting that you have to try and maintain a certain consistent art style for yourself for the game. Yet all of these come from a different artist style in all the comics, right?
Yeah, I mean, Jim Lee is like the guy who pretty much sets the style.
Really?
Yes.
They're basing their look on the whole thing.
Yes.
He comes down here a lot.
Yes.
To kind of
Yeah.
let you guys know,
Why
like,
isn't
okay,
he
this
here?
is what I'm going for.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's amazingly. Well, I mean, he
Only what you feel
the thing-
comfortable
the
with.
thing- The thing that Jim is fixated on is more or less the faces.
Yeah.
You called him Jim. That's
Well-
awesome.
You should say Jimmy after this.
All right.
Jimbo.
Yeah.
Your Highness Almighty Mr.
J-Dog.
Lee.
But the thing, he's more fixated on the faces, and he is. I mean, I don't. The thing is, like, I don't want to when I'm modeling a character, I try and I don't think about what I think is cool or awesome. I try and respect what people like about it.
Right.
And I don't try and pretend that well, some people think this is stupid, and I'll hear people say that, and I'm like, well, it's been around this long, and people like it.
Right.
And there's no reason to mess with it, And Jim for the most part, Jim doesn't really mess with it either, so...
Well, so he's very hands off. He trusts his artists to do the thing that they're good at, that they've been hired for.
Yeah, I mean, he'll try and take it up a notch or something, but... there's a little back and forth, but ultimately it's iconic,
Okay.
I mean, it's you can't tamper with Superman too much before it's not Superman.
Yeah, but the real thing is, okay, so in this game, all right, so are people playing Superman, Batman, Martian Manhunter, yada yada, or are they playing these other characters who are working with those? Like, are you going into the game saying, I'm a new character who gets a chance to team up with these superheroes, or the superheroes themselves,
Or is
an
that-
occasional showing up in the story?
Well,
Can you answer?
yeah, I think I can answer this. I mean, and I'll be fired tomorrow, but
No. I don't want you to say anything you're going to get in trouble
but at
for.
least we got our scoop.
No. I think the thing is you can't play Superman. I mean, you can't play Superman. But you can. The whole thing is you can hang out with him, or you can help him.
That's actually better.
So you can basically
Because Superman has
Jimmy
a hard
Olsen.
ass
You
life.
you could be another superhero who works with Superman.
Well, playing as Superman and then all of a sudden someone else is Black Canary, it's kind of uneven, isn't it?
Well,
It's just
Well, I
kinda
mean,
ridiculous.
I don't know how you guys
Superman's
feel about it. Do y'all
kinda
want to play
naive.
Superman, or would y'all rather
It's one of those things where I think ultimately it's better to make up your own character who can hang out with Superman
Yeah.
if you can do it a lot.
in an RPG, I think it's better to not be able to play Superman in this sort of context. Rather to be someone who might eventually be at the level where Superman would go, "Hey, I'd like to work with you." as an
Grant wants to know
NPC.
if you can play Lois Lane or Lana.
I will be playing her later tonight. Actually. So
That's not creepy at all.
Now,
You need to stop sitting near Allison. Is all I'm saying at this point. That's all. I'm saying.
now, if I may lend some context to Mike without him going Billy Bob Thornton on
my
me.
name's my name's Martin.
Now we
yeah, that's a good one.
last week we had John Lucas on, and I met you and John Lucas right about the same time because you were part of his crew, the whole Waco contingent. Although you were actually from Belton, but comic artists. I mean, you did comic art for years, and so how did you fall in the games? Because you and I, even though we knew each other during comics, we didn't become friends until we worked at the same game company. So how did you fall into doing computer games?
Well, I mean, I think the same way you did too. I mean,
I just needed a job, and one was open,
You
and I
sucked
took
the
it.
right dick.
You just had context.
well,
Why does everything have to come back to sucking dicks with
Because
you
he's
guys?
had like 18
Jason
Lone
does.
Stars. That's why. And I was just when we took our last break, he was like, "Hey, good show." I was like, "Good show." He's like, "Yeah." So
Can
you
I
want me to
suck your
your
dick?
cock or what? I'm just saying. You just Don't let him have that much Lone Star.
Okay, one thing I would like to bring up about Mike.
Lone Star and Felicia.
Like-
Oh my God, he's like he
Hand in
is
hand.
as red as Santa Claus's hat right now. I'm sorry. I
Me or
apologize.
him?
No, Jason. Both of you. Now that I look at it, Jesus Christ.
Michael is like a big time comics book guy. I mean, I always knew that to be his first love, and he loves Jack Kirby and several of the older artists. So when
I wanted to be a comic book
when
artist.
nobody else, I'm sure, at Sony wants to render or work on model the Jack Kirby comics, the Fourth World, you're probably the guy who steps up and goes, ooh, me.
All the characters they think are like goofy or stupid, or I mean they don't necessarily say that, but there are certain people that like you're attracted to like certain characters like Deathstroke or the Superman or Batman. I'm attracted to the ones that people consider goofy.
Sure.
And I don't
Like
see
Howard
them,
the Duck?
I mean,
dumbass.
I don't see him as goofy.
He's able to like take them back to their roots. Of like, no.
I
You
respect
understand.
them
This
for
is
what
what's
they are.
cool about this character.
Yeah.
This character.
Everybody wants to model or do the model of Darkseid. I kind of like. I'm like, well, I like Orion.
Yeah.
And I would like to model Orion and have it in the game and have my name attached to it. And everybody's like, but he's a guy in pajamas with like a silver helmet. But I understand the character, like his, drive and all that. And I don't know how to explain it any more than that.
I just want to play Devil Dinosaur. That's all I'm saying.
Well,
Again,
That's Marvel.
Oh, is that Marvel?
God. Why are we letting you run this?
Because I don't know. Honestly, I don't have an answer for that.
So, well, anyway, I mean, I'm with you. I mean, I'm like,
I like the goofy
I'm a Marvel guy
characters.
too.
I like the goofy characters too, though. I mean, I mentioned Blue Devil earlier, which is DC. God damn it, Blue Devil.
Oh yeah, Blue Devil.
Yeah, is DC, and I like that character. I like the goofy.
Are you
DC
serious?
shit. I love Blue Devil.
No,
man.
Blue
He's
Devil's
awesome.
cool.
Yeah,
I'm
Blue
with you
Devil's
on that
way
one.
cool.
Oh, okay.
If he could ride on the back, if he could ride on the back of Devil Dinosaur
I'll
and
respect-
just
but that's
trample
the
and
thing.
eat everything in their path, they'd be awesome. Yeah.
Jesus
I don't
H.
try and put my imprint on it. I try and like find out what like people like about it, and I try to respect that.
Okay.
Now, Mike, it
So-
sounds like okay, you're working at Sony now. It sounds like you're having a good time. Because I know when you and I worked in games, we were miserable. It sucked.
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
Or are you miserable
look.
now?
I mean, we've had a lot of people who are happy with what they do now, and I love you. God bless you guys. I'd hate for that impression to go out to all our listeners, going like, "Wow, working in games sounds like fun. I can't wait to do that." It's great if you want to throw your life into doing this round the clock. Sometimes like sleeping and showering at the place. Only to finish the game, get a pat on the back, and then fired the next day because now the game's done. We don't need you anymore.
Leon, you're kind of the peak best of every art industry there is, aren't you? You're like there in the
peak best.
early days, right at the beginning, and you're great at what you do. But
Yeah.
everything is this kind of a shithole industry, and,
And
everything
I
you're
can't
playing
make
crappy places.
any more blowjob references.
And you go, fuck this, I quit. Fuck this, I'm out of here. And then suddenly it's worth millions of dollars, and you go, man, I was there in the beginning when it
I'm
sucked.
not going to call you a
Wow. so according to Cyrus, this is my last podcast for Leo.
Wow. he threw you
Up
under the peak
until
best
now.
bus. That's ridiculous.
All I gotta say is, working in games has burned out a lot of guys. I mean, there's guys who've prospered. There's a lot of guys who've burned out.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew a guy named Eric Lund who only had one leg, and he got so burned out. I met him at a comic book store one day. He told me he wasn't going to draw anymore. He was like, "Fuck it, I hate it. They ran me to the ground." Now Mike here has like one of the best stories I love to tell because he pulled a Samuel Jackson in Pulp Fiction where he decided he was through with games and he was going to roam the earth like Cain.
Oh, I remember that.
Yes.
He became a shepherd?
You called him out. Now he's pissed. Okay. I can tell.
He grew a
I mean, he's back.
mustache.
He's back, obviously. But there was a time when he got so burned out, he decided, I would rather make no
happens
money
That
than
happens
do
to
this.
a lot of guys in games. I mean, I talked to some of my best friends who used to work in the game industry, and they're like, "No, I don't even want to fucking play video games anymore, man." Seriously. But go ahead. Tell us, Kane Kwai Chang.
I remember when that happened. I was like, wow, really? I mean, because I knew you. We were hanging out too back then. I was like, Wow, I had no idea that was getting to you to that level. But then you came back after all that. You like, fuck it, I'm gonna go back and do it again. What changed your mind? Made you go, you know what, I want to go back?
Yeah, what
and do
made you
video
leave
games?
and what made you come back?
You mean besides money?
Sure.
No. It was totally like there was a point where it was just like, I don't know. I mean, I've had it good the whole time. I'm not gonna lie about that. But the thing is there was a point where like I just got kind of disillusioned and why are you laughing? No.
The invisible force behind
It's okay.
behind
Money
spills.
is a definitely good motivator.
Hey,
Yeah,
that's the biggest motivator.
no, it's not. It wasn't money. It was I gotten burned out because of people that like just didn't know what they wanted, or you know,
A lot of bureaucracy to deal with. A lot of red tape.
yeah. I mean,
and you know, the
you're young.
inmates running the asylum.
You're young and you have these dreams of like I don't.
What? Of
I'm
sitting
getting
around
distracted by
and
waving hands.
sitting
or
around and
whatever.
cell shading all day.
Well, you know, you want to make a difference, right?
Okay.
You want to like be a motivator. You want to be somebody like an industry changer.
Because you
or
love
something.
this stuff growing up, and
Yeah.
you want to be the guy who says,
No, I
we'll
understand.
take it to the next
I mean,
level.
You've got a dream. You're all excited about something, and then you've got some dude who just talks over everyone. and his name's
I'm not
Bo.
saying that at all. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying like you have a fantasy or whatever of how you imagine the game industry.
Sure.
And it doesn't turn out like that. Your job might be to be like, I have to make. Everybody else does all the fun stuff. You know, they get to make all like the high profile stuff.
And you have to animate the blue dick on Dr. Manhattan. the whole
Right.
Yeah,
That's your job.
really, so much of it is cog work. You're
Yeah.
and if you can be
Cog work, yeah.
proud of being a cog, that's fine. I mean, I
And-
know I worked for a year animating vehicles on a game, and then I left the company, and then the game never shipped because another company came out with a game similar after the fact, but sued for it. And the company I work for just didn't want to deal with the lawsuit, so they scrapped the whole thing.
It's so heartbreaking.
That's a
You poured
year
that
of
much
working
time.
with nothing to put in my portfolio.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Big,
I-
was that
well-
game Big Steel Car? I was hearing about that. That was. I was disappointed that never came
Yeah, you
out.
can still.
So
Go
you
ahead.
know I'm gonna fuck you up after this is all
I
over, with,
know.
right?
I figured at this point it's a foregone conclusion,
will
so
fight.
I'm just playing it for all it's worth. I mean, hell, Carlisle's killed
the hell are
all
you
of us
doing?
like 8 times.
That's
so
true.
At this point, I figure I'm pretty much immortal. So.
and many
Man.
more
That's
than
true.
that.
All right, I
in
don't want to
his
leave it on
dreams.
Mike because Clay's sitting here antsy. It's like not only does he want to talk, but he wants to get downtown and get his groove on.
Oh,
and
you're
start meeting some foxy
you're waiting
ladies.
to go hang out with non-geeks. I don't blame
Wait,
you.
I mean, we talk about handsome guys. Clay looks like Hugh Grant over here. I've known guys who hate Clay just because of how handsome he is.
You do kind of suck for that.
Plus, he's wearing he's wearing a Ben Sherman shirt, which is a really nice shirt.
Is that stylish? I don't even know.
Yes, it is.
If it's
up,
not
Greg.
at Target, I don't need it. So
All right, so Clay Hoffman, who works for the Disney Corporation and really can't talk about what he's working on right now at all, can share some of his stories from the past.
I bet it's a Pixar game.
No, it's not. No,
Okay.
Yeah, lean
I-
into
I'm
the
not-
mic.
I can't say what it is, but no. I mean, like,
It's like the CIA. None of these guys can say anything. Wait,
No, we-
well, I really can't say what I do.
if it's not announced, then it's.
You know, it's funny because like all the things I've worked on, I've signed NDAs. I remember being with a bunch of people, and one guy said like, "Okay, who here has signed a non-disclosure and not talked about what they worked on?" And nobody raised their hand.
You know what's funny is that if Greg grabs my microphone one more time, I'm gonna punch him in the throat.
Let's see how well that works out.
yeah.
Let's punch out the guy with the big athletic like frame.
As long as my hands still work, it's okay. I'm not singing.
I don't know who would win here. Greg, you can pull me and Allison if you need.
But back to Clay Hoffman, who's actually here.
I'm sorry, Clay. I'm sorry.
So,
we
Clay-
get distracted after like 12,
So Clay, talk to
13
us.
That's all right.
years.
That's all right.
So you can't talk about the Disney project you're working on, but what's the company you work for right now? It is Disney,
It's
right?
it's Junction Point Studios.
And what? And you've been they took you out to Pixar to see like the new stuff they're working on.
Oh well, that was just a like kind of a field trip. Like they just wanted to like take several people out there. They're trying to spread Pixar culture around the company, and they just thought that the video game guys could learn a thing or two from Pixar. So
Now, how did you get into video games? Like, what were you doing
Actually,
before
it was-
that led you this way?
I really kind of stumbled into it. I lucked out.
Because I've known you since you were in college as a freshman or
Yeah. I mean, like I graduated from Southwestern University with a degree in art, but like I really didn't want to teach or do anything like that. And so like I thought about going into graphic design, and because of that, it led me to Southwest University, and somebody was giving a lecture there, and they were talking about video games, and so I just knew that was what I wanted to do. And so I just kind of hounded the guys at Origin until they gave me a job. And
you worked for Garriott, okay.
Yeah, I worked for Garriott. I actually worked on Ultima Online. Was
Oh, hell yeah!
It's my first game. That was my
I enjoyed
right on.
Okay,
I-
Ultima Online.
Now, I have to caveat that though. I'm like, yeah, I worked on it, but then I never played it, and I know it's like is like the holy grail of like MMOs. Like people absolutely.
I think you and
love
everybody
that.
else pretty much that
It's
was
the
story.
first.
Though. I know everyone I know worked on Ultima Online at least a little bit,
yeah.
but
Ultima
nobody was
Online-
playing it, unfortunately.
Man, that
so.
was for those of you young whippersnappers out there listening. Ultima Online. I mean, you might be playing World of Warcraft now, or Age of Conan, or what the hell ever. Ultima Online was the first,
Yeah.
so long as you don't count Neverwinter Nights.
I-
The
that-
original Neverwinter.
I think. Hey, wait, hold on.
That's where people developed eating disorders, divorced their wives,
Oh, yeah.
and killed themselves because of playing
Yeah, Ultima
this game.
Online launched in
it's-
'97.
I think. Yeah, I think so. And it's still around, right? I mean,
Yeah,
like, they're
no, it's
still.
Oh, I
playing
thought
it.
it.
Right?
I thought it finally ended.
No.
recently.
It's still
No,
going.
they're
It's
still
going strong.
They're
Okay.
still playing it, which is crazy when you think.
See,
about it.
I mean, the first major RPG I ever played was Ultima 4. Back when it was just non-online, it was just straight up. And I spent every waking moment playing that shit. Ultima 5, Ultima 6, went back and bought Ultima 1, 2, and 3. It
And
was
what has this done
great.
for you?
Look how successful I am now. I'm just saying. So kudos to you. Kudos to you for having actually worked on like their, the ultimate extent of what that project actually became. I mean, that was the big RPG that everyone looked at to imitate.
All right, shut
forever.
the fuck up. Let him keep talking.
Yes.
And then there was EverQuest. But anyway.
More from the guy who's actually done shit.
Oh, I see how it is. Less from the guy who has never even played any of these games.
True.
I'm not.
No. He's being right.
Yeah.
I went off and lived a life. So Clay, please tell us more.
As he insults
I
the rest
see.
of this podcast.
He's gonna kick my ass at the end anyway, so don't feel bad about it, Clay.
No, but like so from there, like I went on to work with John Romero on Daikatana, which was a
Daikatana.
Yeah,
which is
was
one of those. Wasn't that vaporware for a while?
It was a total catastrophe. I mean, it finally came out, and it just didn't. I mean, that company, Ironstorm. Wow.
Man, Ironstorm, man. Okay,
Ironstorm. So, that's
Mike was gonna like interview with them, and I went down to Dallas with him for it, and they were so like, oh, we're doing all this. We got the top building in town, the most expensive building. We got the penthouse, and this game's gonna ship on time. And I'm like, well, what if it doesn't? No, it's going to. Do you think it shipped on time? Fuck no.
Daikatana is one of those games that actually should have been really good, based on all the ideas that were behind it. It from what I understand, there was a lot of stuff there, and if you read the background to it, it really had a lot there that could have been a totally kick-ass game, but it didn't happen.
Well, let me tell you this.
Basically,
they took so long to bring it out that all these innovations they had, other people started making the innovations as well.
Right. Yeah, they just dropped the ball. I mean, like, they went through like literally IDOS gave these guys who were all considered kind of rock stars. They gave them like $20 million, and they burned through it in 2 years.
Jesus Christ!
I mean,
$20 million.
Yeah, I mean, like it was crazy. I mean, they got a sweetheart deal that anybody would just give their left leg for, and they just burned through all the money. I mean, they just managed it in the ground. So.
Wow. Okay, so you worked on that game.
Yeah.
And did you get to enjoy the hookers and champagne and?
No, actually, I missed out on all that because, so I was there until they moved in the Chase. I think it's the Chase building downtown.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's the one with the keyhole at the top.
Oh, the one that looks like a giant crawfish. No, that's the Frost building. I'm sorry.
Frost is Ganesh. It looks like Ganesh.
I thought it was an owl, but okay.
But so anyway, so they moved into the top floor of that, and while they were doing that, I moved on to Austin. Like they went ahead and got Warren Spector on board.
Oh,
and so
okay,
I moved down to Austin to work on Deus Ex.
Gameplay or story? Which one is going to be most important to a company? like there's so many people who argue who want to say that the story is like the stories in video games can be as powerful as those in a movie or a novel. I've always said no because gameplay comes first.
Okay, I tend to agree with you on that. But that's just my personal opinion about it. And like, I know like Warren Spector, if he heard me saying that, he'd want to chop off my head because the guy loves like he's all about story. The story's got to be great. The story has to be fantastic. Which I mean, like I think you can negotiate that. You just have to be careful about it. You've got to make sure your low level stuff is works, and then you're kind of coming at it from both ends. You know, I mean, like you're working towards the middle. Those are the games that are really successful at it. The ones that like are off kilter, like they just focused on one aspect of it too much, and you know you don't have the whole experience.
Okay, Mike, what's your weigh in on that?
The last thing I want to do, I guess, when it comes to games, it's like I want to interact with them. But when it comes to like movies, I don't want to interact with them. I want to like be told a story, and I don't really want to change the outcome. I want to be told a story. And when it comes to games, I want to change the outcome. So there's a difference.
Games have the potential to do something that film, can't. I mean, it's the whole interactive aspect of it. I mean, like it has the potential to be so much broader. I mean, like it's.
Well, I mean, okay. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I want to bring this back to an argument that Leon and I have had, and a lot of people have had about the question: are video games capable of being art? And we went into this at length, and we repeat to go into this in length. And one of the things I brought up to him just recently was like, that's because you keep defining them in the same context you're defining films as, and that's a gigantic mistake. You can't do that.
But I've said they are art.
No, I know. You eventually came around on that and said that.
I believe that from the. Who thinks video games are not art? Okay, nobody raised their hand.
I've said they're
Bo's
art
outside
from the very beginning. I've said they're art.
I know, but you were. I don't know if you were devil's advocating or what.
Actually,
but you can.
Hold on, I was going to say, like, it brings up that's an interesting topic. Like, what do you guys think is the most artful game that you've seen?
Katamari Damacy.
Katamari Damacy.
Really? I would say that's one of them. I totally agree on that.
Ico,
actually, I'm going to say Shadow of the Colossus.
Yeah, same. I've heard a lot about Shadow of the
Colossus. If you have not played that game, you've got to go out and play it. I mean, like, it has got to be
Do they make
one
it
of
for
the
the
best.
PC?
I don't know that they do.
Because I don't have a game system other than
you get
other
a
than a DS.
PS2 for like $90. What is keeping you at this
$99
point?
price point
Yeah.
now is ridiculous.
Exactly.
I mean,
and you can buy it for that.
argument, you can
Because
get the
I
first
have
two
a lot of
Katamari
other shit
for
going
$10.
on.
Are there any other games like they made them from films that you guys have played that?
Well, no, I mean, there's so many, but most of them are crap. Honestly, I mean, like the entire Harry Potter translation,
The movie tie-in
are
thing, yeah.
mediocre as hell. Now, one of our readers wrote in saying I felt like they were better because they had more to do with the books, but honestly, I can't imagine using the word better with them. They were just mediocre as hell, and most of them feel like they're just going through the motions. I mean, honestly, how many? I mean, come on. Do you remember Fight Club, the video game? Did anyone play that shit?
Gayest game ever.
Oh my god!
It was like a bunch of dudes rolling around, humping each other.
There aren't really.
Wait a minute.
Did that happen?
That was Fight Club. I mean, really.
Sit down, Bo.
What? Do they have a level where you get to beat the living crap out of Jared Leto?
Honestly, the only really good video game, like movie to video game thing I can even think of is, as far as an actual trying to say this is that movie game, is probably the first two Spider-Man movies, which were great.
Spider-Man
Now
has
there's the
gotten great
there's the
reviews. I
Chronicles.
haven't touched it, but
There's the Chronicles of Riddick.
What games are you guys playing right now? And what are your favorite games of all time?
There you go. Perfect question.
This is the ending question for you guys.
All right. Who's first? You go first.
No,
you go first.
No,
you go
please.
first.
No, you first.
Go first.
You go first.
All
right.
Wait, you're first.
Are you
Go.
actually,
somebody mentioned the game.
In all seriousness, I haven't been playing much recently at all.
That's everybody's answer.
I haven't.
Because making games breaks you of playing
Not
games.
true.
I was gonna say, does
Not
anyone
true.
in the industry actually play
No,
games?
I actually plan on getting a Nintendo DSi because my DS got stolen. And by the way, that is the best. I think that's the best console for the money. One of the best.
Really?
consoles
The
for-
DS?
Yeah, oh yeah. It's
Oh,
great.
fuck yeah.
Oh yeah, it's great. God,
Because I was playing the Simpsons game and I got stuck, so I haven't picked it up
What's the
since
price
then.
point for a DS?
I guess
now?
Mario
It's like
Mario Galaxy was the last game that I played, and I played it about halfway through, and it was a lot of fun. It was pretty.
I heard it was really cool.
Yeah,
Very
it is
different.
Yeah.
Very innovative.
It's a pretty good game. So.
What's your favorite game of all time?
Favorite game of all time?
Just what?
That's
we're not
really
gonna
rough.
hold
That's
you to this.
I would say probably
Yes, we
GTA.
do.
I've played GTA multiple times, so
Okay.
probably
Well,
GTA. is one.
Which one?
Yeah.
3. Because that's really
It's the one that's the Miami Vice one. The
Oh,
Miami
oh, Vice City.
Vice City, and the reason
It's
why
like
is because
The soundtrack kicks ass.
the reason why is because I'll never forget this. I was going on a mission to like assassinate some woman or something, and they have "Take These Broken Wings" came on the damn radio.
yeah.
And you just have moments like that in the game, and it's just so damn funny. You're just like, man, that's
Right on.
hysterical. It's
Yeah.
like straight out of Miami Vice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
oh,
no,
totally.
that's a great
You know?
answer. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
That is a good answer. What
Yeah.
about
Okay, Michael.
What about
Washburn.
you, Washburn?
Yeah.
All right, it's pretty boring, but
Scoot up to the
basically, it's basically Battlefield 2.
Battlefield
Pretty
2?
much.
That's
Yeah.
the game you're playing now, or your
That's
favorite
what
game?
I'm playing now.
I don't even know what that is, actually.
No.
I'm sorry.
You don't know what that is?
Oh no, Modern Combat.
No, Battlefield 2.
Battlefield 2 is Modern Combat. Yeah, right.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
played Battlefield 1942.
Yeah.
And he likes it because every time right before you shoot
I
a
don't
guy in the
wanna-
head, it plays Night Ranger.
Right. No, Battlefield 2 on the
Yeah,
PC.
but there was like
I heard that in a Japanese version, Captain America shows up with Nick Fury and his Howling Commandos.
Well, I'm not playing that
No,
version.
not really.
So anyway,
No, Battlefield 2 is fucking amazing.
All right. Well, I'm not going to get into this, but I enjoy. There's an aspect of like the modern warfare that like I don't like, and that is the fact that everything's laser guided. I enjoyed the whole you try and take out a tank, and you have to like lead it with like an arc or
Yeah.
you know what I'm talking about. Like there's no like
Has
Like,
no one
come on,
created like
get
a
in
Davy
here.
Crockett game where you?
Yeah,
that's funny
there
that
was,
there's
a degree
not.
of like
Yeah.
there was like a degree of like you're playing pool.
Yeah.
And you have to lead something.
Yeah,
Lead
no,
a
that's
target.
your musket.
No, when I was playing Battlefield 2,
The
I
wadding in
was.
the
I don't even want to see how with the Wii users are going to do that
No,
one.
when
You're like,
I was
"No,
playing-
shake the musket. You got to shake it.
Yeah.
Come
I
on,
played-
shake it
Whatever,
harder.
it doesn't matter.
Fuck it. The Wii just needs to come out with like the Wii Masturbator game and then just end it, and then they can get on to developing other
True.
games.
No, I played Battlefield 2
Get it
a
out
lot, and there were a few things more gratifying than being the Special Forces guy, sneaking into enemy territory, and planting C4 charges on their artillery and on their choppers, and then watching the enemies jump into the choppers, and the helicopters start to take off.
Yeah, like
and
I
then
said, the
you
Wii just needs to come up with a. Anyway.
Death stare.
Does he have
from
to say it?
Jason?
Hey, I'm with you, bro.
So what's your favorite game of all time, Michael?
Mine?
Yes.
We won't hold you to this tomorrow, but what is it right now?
It's Barbie's Horse Adventures, isn't it?
No, I mean I'm still with the Battlefield thing because
Okay.
there's a circuitous kind of like
It's a
That
different
would be
game
your
every
favorite.
time.
nobody has the upper hand. Kind of.
Okay. Well, thank you guys.
Yeah, thanks,
so
guys.
much for coming out.
Coming
Is there
by.
any way that you have a personal online gallery or any
Yeah,
place
you guys
that
wanna-
you want
Things you want
people
to promote,
see?
throw out there for people to
Promote
like,
any of your own personal stuff?
Not really.
I want to
Really?
promote Clay.
Clay and Michael are both incredibly handsome men who know how to hold their liquor.
Clay has
as
an-
opposed to the rest of Leon.
Clay has an adults-only Flickr account that you can find.
Seriously, guys, thanks for coming by.
Thank you so much. Yes.
Everybody's
Yeah.
gonna love this.
Yes.
Round of applause,
Everybody?
please. Thanks for coming out, guys.
We'll be back in just a moment with a little more Bo to see where he's at this point of his
Jesus.
Oh my
life.
god! Somebody get a shovel. All that talk about video games, and Bo is still alive.
Bo is still functioning.
I always wanted to talk about bitches and flow. So can we segue over to that?
That'll be the next Leog, the bitches and flow.
Left,
Leog.
left, up.
That's the women's episode.
Really? I didn't.
There is a bitches and flow that you can use on your controller.
I just didn't think people
What is
cared that
flow?
much about the show Alice. That's all.
Yeah, it's
flow is what
the
penguins
waitress.
slide on.
Oh, okay.
Flo is
your spirit animal.
It's freestyle.
But seriously, if anybody has an answer to my question about GTA San Andreas, let me know how I can make it where the cars don't crash into each other and I can actually drive these vehicles.
As long as we're just giving like random questions out, I have this weird polyp on the side of my hip. I'm not sure what it is. If anyone could just, tell me what.
No one can hear you, Greg.
That's because I gave you syphilis, Greg.
I have this
on my hip.
I have this.
That's your brain.
I have this horrible rash that comes up every time that we record a Leog. But he did come up with a good song at some point.
Oh, Greg,
Just
you're
wondering.
awesome.
No,
Greg is who we're talking about here.
Wow, everybody's really drunk tonight.
That's
not
no
drunk.
shit, Chet. That's no shit.
No. Grant is a rash.
Fuck you, Stevie Wonder sucks.
Greg is a virus. You're all fucking.
Oh, free for all.
You're on my thrall, my vast, horrible minions.
Maybe we should stop this and restart.
No, we're fine because this is what Leog is.
Yeah,
we're not
pretty much.
embarrassed to admit what we are, except for the whole not using our real names thing. We're not embarrassed to admit who we are.
A
And
bunch
what
of
we are
drunks
is
with
drunks.
mics.
Unless you're my prolapse. In which case, we're well-behaved people talking about comic books.
Well, we're going to do something that's probably a really terrible idea now, even with Bo in the room. And we're going to answer quick. We're going to fire through some of these user questions.
Just round robin?
We're just going to
point at
go
everyone?
straight through and go. And everybody, whoever's got the best answer it. Nobody feel like they have to answer. Just if you don't have an answer, we'll just move to the next one. Dominique Lawson says, I was wondering what kind of system or game computer do y'all use and why? I'll start this. I got a PS3 because, hey, what can I tell you? Sony's done good for me from the past. And I can stream from my computer to watch my videos on my computer from it.
I have an Xbox 360 and a PS3, but I primarily use my Xbox 360. It's awesome because you can download movies completely legally, of course, and put them on a USB key, and then plug them directly into your Xbox 360, and and play Castle Crashers because it's
As
it's
you
the
keep
balls.
telling me, it's awesome, and I can't get it on my system.
I got a DS, and most games I play on my PC.
I have a Wii, and I love the Wii.
He said he has a Wii. That's
Well-
funny.
All right, bye, Bo. I have a
No, I
Wii.
won't leave on that if you want to make it.
Bye, Bo. I think there's just a nostalgia I love about the Mario and everything that they still carry through, and so I'm still attached to that. But I love all the other little children. They're kiddie games, but I think it's really fun. It's really interactive. So I'm still.
I love the
Wii.
fact that they put out a athletic game, like an exercise game, that's nothing but a scale. That's all it is. It's a scale. You're like, hey, it's the most exciting new thing in fitness ever. You just have to step 2 inches off the ground and then step 2 inches off
No,
the ground.
it's like-
Suddenly
You
I'm not a
couldn't
fucking badass
You
anymore.
couldn't have possibly figured that out by yourself.
How different is this from the DDR thing? I mean,
Well, because in DDR, at least you're dancing to music, and it's actually harder, the DDR thing.
No,
a lot
you can
harder.
ski.
You can do. Have you actually played it? Because
I
it's
have
actually
actually
it's
played
so fun.
Yeah,
You do the
guys
hula
are
hoop
into
stuff
that
and all
whole-
All right, Allison.
I trust Grant.
I
Okay,
actually
Allison.
had an ex who completely totaled her ankles.
Okay,
off
doing
DDR.
that, I believe
Allison.
it. I
Allison,
believe
what
it.
you got?
Oh,
Allison.
It's hard.
Wii and Xbox.
Hell yeah!
But why?
Hell yeah. Wii because I'm a girl, and traditionally the girls like
That's
the Wii.
that's why I liked it too.
Yeah.
No, I mean, wait a minute.
Grant's
wait
a
a minute.
girl.
Wait a minute.
No, I have a Wii because Wiimote interactivity. I agree with Grant, and I like Mario Kart, man.
Mario
And-
Kart?
Oh, Mario
Yeah,
Kart is
man.
awesome.
Oh, and
So
Twilight
I'm-
I played on the
and
DS and I
Twilight
love it.
Princess.
Best game
hello.
ever.
Allison,
Best
Allison,
game
I
ever.
could totally take you in Mario Kart. By the way.
Or he
Probably.
could just take you.
You can pick up, I mean, a Nintendo 64 for what, $50,
If that.
and Mario Kart and 6 controllers and
And it's
go
Marty.
absolutely
I'm
fucking
not- I'm
nuts.
gonna
Not
throw
the
it down
same.
right
not
now.
the same. Now that you can control them with the Wiimote, you actually move your hands
Yeah,
to
and the
control
little.
turning.
Yeah,
That is
It's
pretty
amazing.
cool.
I'm going to throw it down right now that no one in the room could beat me in Mario Kart. I'm going to say that right
I
now.
will fight you, Mario
I
Kart
will.
style.
I will bite you.
fight you. All right, Draco asks.
He really has some.
Draco asks, either negative or positive, what is the one video game that affected you the most and why? And I'm going to go right here and say the first Resident Evil, really, because I hadn't really played video games for a long time, and it was sort of this weird bonding game with me and a friend of mine where we were like, oh, he got the system, like, oh, this will be silly, it'll be like the Genesis. And we both got so into that fucking game, and we're like, oh my god, it's so terrible yet so wonderful at the same time.
With all the horrible voice acting.
The worst voice acting in history, but that was why it was so awesome.
I hate to give away my ancientness, but I felt the exact same way about Doom 2.
Did you? And
No,
it
there's
does,
nothing
in
wrong
fact.
with that. Doom 2, when it came out, was really when you come around a corner and
Yes,
you see a
I would play in the
cacodemon-
dark, and it would scare the shit out of me.
Yeah,
But you play
Yeah,
those were those
surround
games you
sound.
played it with a friend, and it was like you both jump and then you laugh, and it was like that great bonding thing. Plus, every time they're like, "I hope that's not Chris's blood," and just this terrible, terrible dialogue. Just laugh out loud together. They're going, "Yeah, that was awesome."
You, Jill, the master of unlocking.
Yeah, there you
Well,
go.
Jason,
Thank you,
what
thank
was
you,
yours?
Adam.
The game that affected me the most, honestly, was, and this is kind of obscure, it was from 98 or 99, Nocturne. And it was set in, like, 1942, and it was a paranormal investigation, extermination, secret society established by Teddy Roosevelt after he... after he battled werewolves in Cuba.
Yes.
Werewolf. There it is.
Yeah, and it was really creepy. You played a guy named the Stranger, who he looked like the Shadow, and yet he had two Colt 45s with laser sightings on them, and it was a creepy movie, and it spawned lots of little spin-offs.
It sounds very screw-on head.
It was a total secret society, and they were fighting werewolves and vampires and so forth. But it had there was a spin-off game that was honestly the scariest game I've ever played, and believe it or not, it was the Nocturne people set in the 40s, investigating the Rustin Parr murders from Blair Witch.
Really?
Oh, crazy.
It was fucking terrifying.
Wow.
Because they're in Burkittsville circa 1943 or whatever, and it was really unsettling.
Okay.
It was
They lose
It has to be scarier than the movie because this is scarier than the movie.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm one of those guys.
But this is one of those games that if you find it, grab it because it had a limited production, and and it didn't sell very well, even though it was absolutely terrifying.
What do you got, Grant?
Well, I would initially was thinking I would say Myst because I think that really changed a lot of how I see games. I think that the game that really affected me, and this may come as a shock to you guys, I'm kind of a dork. And when I first went to college, I didn't know anyone, but I was walking down the hall trying to meet people, and all of a sudden I came across people playing this game called Halo. And I was like, "Hey, what are you guys playing?" And they're like, "Fuck off." And I was like, "No, really? Can I watch you guys?" And they're like, "All right." So I kind of watched for a bit.
Pepsi.
And then they let me start playing, and holy shit, was that game so addicting?
No.
And it just changed like my viewpoint of like games, and it made me friends.
God, you're so young. It's cute.
I know.
No,
I'm sorry, but yeah.
Games like Halo are great if you didn't own a PC before 1999. Because
wait, what are you talking about?
I really
Halo
liked
is
Halo.
a great game.
Halo is great.
No, Halo is great if you were unfamiliar with PC games. If you hadn't played Duke Nukem,
You pretentious nerd.
Oh, please.
I liked Halo way better than Duke Nukem.
No, Halo beat the shit out
okay,
of Duke
Duke.
Nukem.
Okay, I gotta admit, Duke Nukem 3D. That was my first experience with like playing online against my friends. I could play them over the internet, and that was awesome.
when Halo
Play
came
online.
out, it was great for a console first-person shooter. And
now you're throwing down the
I'm
gauntlet.
I'm throwing down the gauntlet. That's
You
right,
are.
Allison. No, it was like first-person shooters for dummies.
You're one of those. No, see, you're crazy. dude. That's absolute.
I guess I'm confused on the question. Was this what is the best game, or is this my opinion of what affected
I
me?
will make
Okay.
Grant
Guys.
fight you.
Because otherwise,
Oh snap!
I apologize for my opinion, Jason. Shit.
Damn. You've actually offended Grant. I didn't even think that was possible.
Okay.
You got knocked the fuck out.
Okay. Grant, apology accepted.
All right.
All right, we're moving on to the. Oh no, Allison has an answer to this. I'm sorry.
Played Zork when I was
yeah!
wee tiny. Loved the crap out of it. Zork rocks.
Fuck yeah.
And but I still love Abe's Oddworld. And
Nice one.
Oddworld is such an awesome
series
game.
is awesome. All right, we're going to go to the next question. And Leon is going to hate this one, but we're going to try and dance through this real quick. Aaron asks, what video games would make good movies? And I know what Leon's answer is. It is none. But I don't agree with you. I don't think that's true. I just think it hasn't actually happened yet. I mean, don't you think BioShock, the new
Okay,
Gore
you know what?
Verbinski
As much as
thing?
my answer is none,
you know-
I would say possibly BioShock.
Sure.
No, I think BioShock would make a shit movie. I mean, because
You're out of your goddamn monkey mind.
All right, okay, who's the ad wizard that came up with this one? Come to me with a pitch on what you think would be a great BioShock movie. Give me the trailer.
Ayn Rand meets Blade Runner.
No. He's saying, like, sell it to him.
No, yeah,
He's
like,
a movie producer, and you're going to
I
BioShock.
wanna
and say,
do
here's my
BioShock
idea
the
to
movie.
turn it into a movie.
Explain
That's
it to
what
me.
I just did.
How's he
That's
doing
his elevator
the pitch?
pitch.
Ayn Rand meets Blade
I
Runner.
liked it. It's good.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
quick. It's to the point.
A lot
But
of
that
pitch-
is the
a lot of
game,
pitches
but
go that way.
That's a game. That's not a Hollywood pitch.
That's all you need, though.
Yeah, elevator.
That really is all you need.
Yeah, but that's not how
That's
Hollywood
all-
pitches work.
that's
That's
all
not how
it
they
is.
do them.
I will give you millions on that.
Most pitches are, it's this meets this. That's the basis of
That's
most
your
pitches.
elevator pitch.
No, but that's not
So
true. It's not that
it's a
simple.
plumber meets the Mushroom Kingdom, and boom, movie.
What's a
Hey, Mario Brothers was an awesome
You mean like
movie.
a plumber from Ben 10?
That translated perfect.
He got the rest.
Leo, to be honest, that's how they intro them, and that's not how a pitch goes. Though you go, here's what I got, here's what I'm selling
Right.
you.
Okay.
after
Okay. Well,
that.
let me tell you this: somebody who's going to do an elevated pitch, they've actually wrote this and studied on it for a while. He just threw it at Jason 2 seconds ago.
Well, he has that coming after that Halo bullshit.
And Jason came off the turnbuckle with the Ram Jam.
Yes, he did. Flying elbow, my friend.
Okay, I'm going to high five you for that one, Jason. All right. Yes, thank you. All right, fair enough. But Adam, what is your answer?
You're gonna
Probably
really
fucking stupid.
hit me.
Whatever.
I'm still on. I hate to go back to Katamari Damacy,
what
but
was your fucking?
I want to see Michael Bay's Katamari Damacy.
Yeah, you're trying to make me say I think Katamari Damacy should be made into a movie.
Yes, a
and
giant
no,
rolling ball rolling up everything and people screaming, and
Hey.
somewhere Megan Fox is losing clothes. That's awesome. Allison wants to say something really bad on
She
this. She's
does.
whispering.
Yes, Allison, share with
She's
the class.
whispering
Say it,
like
waiting
the
to
She's
save me
Legend
from
of
this horrible
Zelda.
question.
say she's whispering like the Lost Island.
Really, Zelda? You would want to see
Oh, wait,
a
that's
Zelda
Mega Man.
movie?
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
Miyazaki
Okay, wait a minute.
needs to make a Zelda movie.
Thank you
No,
very much.
This is awesome because I know this is a quick time,
it.
but seriously, this is an awesome piece of humor. What would a Zelda movie look like?
Jason, I believe you answered his question.
I think it would be very magical and childlike.
It would be an adventure movie. Yeah.
Yeah, adventure.
And I think it would be very innocent. It would be like again, like a Miyazaki movie, like Princess Mononoke or Swept Away, and it would have a sweeping score and
It could
Lots
work.
of glitter.
It could work.
yeah, no, lots of glitter.
But that's the
Or
thing.
just sweeping all the way around.
But you know what? I want to go back and say live action only for this answer. For the sake, you know what? Because the animation,
Well,
there
I
have
kind of
been-
feel that.
Unicorn.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I don't think that live action is necessary. I think keep it animated like a Miyazaki.
But that's what
film.
I'm saying. That's almost too easy because there
I-
have
I-
been.
No, put Miyazaki and Miyamoto in a room together and
Well-
say, here, make a Zelda movie, and then 6 weeks later, let them out of the room.
No.
I kind of think that Michel
wait a minute,
Gondry
wait a minute.
could also pull it off in a
maybe.
live action.
What you do is you
Because
take.
he has
all
a
right,
weird blend
No,
of
Wait a minute,
fantasy.
I have a real theory here.
Okay, I'm sorry.
What you do is you take Zac Efron, you dye his hair blonde, spike it up, and then you take paper and you paper cut him until he dies. Wait, what were we talking about?
Wait.
Sony not already have?
I think Michel Gondry
stab
should
at-
make a Silent Hill movie.
Ooh.
Oh God!
All right, we're gonna have to go to the next question here.
Wait,
okay?
wait a minute!
I just think
Michel
that
Gondry.
a movie has already been made that's off of a video game, and it's called Cube. And I don't know what video game it's based off of, but it's totally a video game, and it's awesome.
All right, Captain Thunderball asks, do you think a movie based on the character Samus from Metroid could possibly work? Who was the first real female character in video games, really?
Yeah.
No, because the rest of it's so sci-fi bizarre. I mean, it's cool that she's in the suit, but I think it'll just end up being another Resident Evil kind of cruddy mess. Personally,
I think it could be cool, but it would be an extraordinarily expensive movie, and
they won't budget for it.
Really, there's no character development there in the Metroid series. Well, it's just badass space bounty hunter chick killing aliens,
turning into a ball and shooting other little glowy balls.
Essentially, they've ruined it through each iteration of the series because it's just this. She's gonna, if you get X amount of points, she's gonna take her fucking top off or whatever, and
is that what happens?
Right, it completely ruins the idea of here's this
supposed to be a
huge,
strong character,
right? This female character that is
because you didn't
really
see Ripley
strong.
going like, "Oh my god, it's a new alien! I better strip down to my underwear."
But there is
Vin
nothing
Diesel is
more
not
powerful
pulling
than a
his
set of
cock
boobs.
out at the end of every
Sorry.
Riddick game.
Would you say?
Yeah,
No, I just said there's nothing more powerful than a set of boobs.
Well, while that's true, I don't think it's necessarily empowering for women who want.
It's female empowerment. They can just take off their shirt without feeling they're going to be objectified by men.
I think
Playing
there
the
could be
game.
a good-
Wait a second.
I think there could be a good Samus Aran movie, but they would have to add a lot to it because there's really not much there. It's like, okay, it's someone hunting aliens. Oh, and it happens to be a chick.
Okay,
actually,
Porter asks, what is your favorite Mortal Kombat fatality?
Ooh.
Fatality.
Well, the only one I even know of is the one where he pulls the guy's head and his whole spine comes out, and that was enough to get
That's
me.
pretty much the best.
Johnny Cage does a 3-head punch off, which is pretty hilarious. But my favorite are the babalities when they turn them into babies. I don't know. It's just hilarious.
Okay, next question.
Are you
Doesn't Johnny Cage have that whole thing where he pulls the Mortal Kombat console in as part of his fatality?
I don't remember that one. I know Shang Tsung's animality is that he turns into a giant dragon and kills him.
Yeah.
All right, X-Teen asks, what are the things that annoy you the most when it comes to playing video games? I mean, he says bad camera angles right off the bat.
Oh,
yeah,
that one,
that's
bad
number
camera
one.
angles.
Bad camera angles ruined Super Mario Sunshine for me, actually.
Bugs.
Bad camera angles and,
I hate
that's
when
pretty much it.
I hate when one game all of a sudden decides to be innovative with the game controls. When there's kind of a set standard that other games all do, like your thumbs should be the navigation, and all of a sudden some games like, no, we're gonna have your navigation where you move about be like some other buttons. I'm just like,
Yeah.
Most of them have it where you can change them, but
Sluggish.
some of them don't, and it just annoys me.
One thing
It's
we were talking about earlier,
not much.
sluggish controls, which is really the whole the biggest problem with the Resident Evil games. That it's just, oh, there's a zombie munching on me. Okay, it's going to take me 5 seconds to turn around and shoot this zombie.
Oh, God, such a
Yeah,
nightmare. There's no
that is the
auto-aim thing like, hey, like the game should be smart enough to realize I should be able to press this button and point towards the thing that is bothering me at this
Elder
point.
Scrolls 3 Morrowind. I had that on the Xbox, and it was horrible.
There
It was
is
the
nothing
slowest
wrong-
game.
there
What are
is
you talking
nothing
about?
wrong with that
I
game.
love
You
that
shut
game.
your fucking
yeah,
mouth.
what the fuck is
It
wrong
was so
with you?
slow. I wish I
I
was
think
so
something's
excited
wrong with your
but,
Xbox
man.
because mine went fast.
Allison,
So.
Okay,
that
I'm
mic you're
sorry.
sharing with Grant, would you please turn it off?
All right, we're going to have to, it has been a long night, guys,
Yeah.
here. We've interviewed a lot of people. Leon here is like, man, I can't believe I've managed to steal the thunder away from Cyrus for this long. I'm ready to pass out. So I'm just going to, now that I'm done asking questions, let's end this. So we're going to end with a question from my biggest fan,
right.
the Ninja Shanice,
Ninja Shanice.
who says, what is your favorite video game of all time? Let's go round robin, guys. Come on.
Am I first?
Yeah, Jason, I'm looking at you.
All right. You know, this changes by the day, but right now I'm going to say Super Mario Kart and the original Super Nintendo.
Ah, right.
Max Payne.
Excellent.
Really?
Max Payne?
Yeah, the
No,
first.
that's
the
a good
first Max
answer.
Payne.
That's a
That
good answer.
surprises the hell out of me, but I love that game.
It really encapsulated everything I like in a game, and it's hilarious to me how Max Payne was based on like those kind of direct-to-video, sort of cheesy movies, like Shooter, like that movie Shooter. When I saw the movie Shooter, I was like, wow, this is like the movie of Max Payne. And then they made a fucking Max Payne movie with Mark Wahlberg in it. It's like that is the epitome of retarded right there.
Leon, if you like Max Payne, seriously, you need to come over to my place and play Stranglehold.
Stranglehold is fun.
Yeah, it is. It's like the sequel. It is the sequel.
It's a
the video
sequel
game
that
sequel.
took it to the next level.
Yeah,
for
to
real.
Hard Boiled.
Yeah,
and the game was. It is very Max Payne. But it's like John Woo directing Max Payne.
Is it more Max Payne than Max Payne 2?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Max Payne 2 was just kind of a carbon copy, really.
Yeah.
Okay.
In
No,
many ways.
Stranglehold is a fucking blast.
And this is literally like John Woo came in and consulted
and said, like,
and
okay, no,
Chow
no,
Yun
this is
Fat
how you do it.
is playing the voice of Chow Yun Fat in the game.
Oh, right
and
on.
it is a literal sequel to Hard Boiled.
Yeah, it is a sequel to Hard Boiled.
Okay, yeah.
very cool. Who's next? Best game ever, Adam.
All right, well, I'm gonna go fucking old school on this one and say, just because it came up in conversation, Super Metroid.
Oh,
right on.
Nice answer.
Okay.
Nice
No,
answer.
that's a great game.
Allison, go first.
No, Grant.
No, I like
Grant.
yours.
For Christ's sakes, one
Well,
of
this
you.
isn't
Twilight
a romantic
Princess.
comedy.
She already said that.
Twilight Princess. What is? I don't even know what that is.
Legend of Zelda: Twilight Princess.
Okay.
It's
for
the one
Wii.
on the Wii. It
Okay,
is.
all right.
It's awesome.
I have not
It's
played
awesome.
that yet.
I haven't played that yet.
I want to
Super
play
fun.
that though.
Because I can't pick just one of the Mega Man games, I'm going to go ahead and say Battletoads.
2.
Nice.
Battletoads is my favorite
Battletoads
fucking
is
game
awesome.
of all time.
Battletoads is fantastic.
Not
I
to
love
dominate
that game.
conversation, but when she said Twilight Princess, I actually want to revise that and say Majora's Mask.
Oh, nice. Okay. I'm going to go even farther back than any of you guys have, and go back once again to Infocom and say Enchanter by Infocom is the best, most fully satisfying video game I've
How
ever
old
played in
are
my
you?
life. I'm your grandfather. But you know what? This is the end of this particular Leog. Leog number 7, volume number 2. Thank you to all our guests.
And by the way, I would just like to say comic books.
Free
Yes.
comic book
Free
day.
Free comic books day.
Book
May
Day.
2nd.
Comic books are still cheaper than video games.
May 2nd.
Still far, far more worth your money than going into a video game.
But we gave the video game a shot, so I hope you guys were kind of happy with it.
If
Yeah.
you like video games, you'll love the sweet taste of comic books.
If you love that, you'll love real life. It's great, and it's free.
Hey, there's no free video
No,
game day.
Wait.
So there's only free comic book day.
But can we say it?
And for that matter, there's no free real life.
Can we say
So
it?
fuck you guys.
Yes.
What do we want to say?
Hey,
Long live the lead!